on. Let's just jump in. Hey kids, what's going on? Zazubaar here. Welcome back to the Sons of Serizawa podcast. It has been the normal amount of time in between episodes for once. There has been no major gap, which is fucking shocking to me.
Shocker.
But once again, we don't have the full crew. We almost have the full crew, missing one motherfucker, not the motherfucker you would expect. So we'll let you figure it out for yourself. But joining me today, I have David Joshua Hernandez, better known to you all as the pirate Gorzard.
Why don't witches wear panties?
Why?
I know that's the question the nation is asking. Why don't witches wear panties? Also joining me, Adam Noyce.
You didn't answer.
I don't, Dave. I wish I had an answer for you, but it's a question I've been asking myself since I was 7. But you know, I just never found an answer.
Here's the answer. They need something to grip the broom.
Oh
my god.
God damn it.
That was good. I like that. I would pat you on the back, Gorzar. That was good.
I give you a golf clap, sir. I give you a golf clap.
I give you a slow sport clap.
Indeed. The slow rising. Adam Noyce is here, folks.
Hello, insects of YouTube.
And also joining us is Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
Rocket punch, motherfuckers!
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, the audience, the toughest question I have ever posed to you. Really, really tough. This is like some intense shit.
This is like biblical in proportions. This is like shit.
This is like when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Alright, you ready? Okay. Which SOS member is not here? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think it over. Remember, I introduced Dave, Adam, and Andres.
You just gave them the
Which
answer.
SOS member is not here?
Why are you doing this, Bill? They're never going to get it.
Bill,
Because
don't you know the law that you have to treat your audience as dumb as fucking possible?
That's why I'm doing. That and I also imagine, like, if we ever had this animated or, like, turned into a TV show, it would be like one of those Dora the Explorer moments where she looks at the camera, it's like,
yeah.
which SOS member is not here? And there's, like, a little, like, option thing of, like, which one's not here.
A little mouse pointer.
And they have to scream the answer for Dora to understand. Because she's fucking stupid.
Como
that's the show where both the audience and the host is stupid. It's like, I wonder which one of these 3 locations we have to go to next.
Oh, Bill, shut up, Bill.
Anyway.
Bad
so yeah, fucking the redneck ain't here. Dylan.
You guys are gonna be proud of me for this.
What?
So I had to help take care of children this entire week, right? And there's one kid that really likes Ultraman, or for some reason really likes giant monsters because he happened to see me watching something Godzilla-related one day.
Oh,
and
nice.
He's been interested ever since then. So we watched some Ultraman Jack, but I was wearing my Creature from the No, not Creature from the
No, you were not wearing a shirt of that movie, Adam.
My Creature from the Black Lagoon t-shirt. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, oh, that's Creature from the Black Lagoon. So guess what we watched? Guess what? I sat him down to watch.
See.
Wait a minute before I forget.
The creature walks among us.
Andres, go in the corner.
Okay.
Get in the corner. I'm sure.
No, wait, before I forget, I have to tell this. We told this on one of the podcasts we did from G-Fest, but I have to tell this story because it's relevant to what Adam just said. There was this fucking moment where we're walking through the dealer's room, Dylan and I, and Andres was off doing some Andres bullshit. And
That's fitting.
And we're by this table, and I forget what the table was. They had a bunch of different crews there who were selling different things. And I'm looking across. They had a bunch of bootlegs and other DVDs and such. That's where Dylan bought his Spider-Man DVD.
Right.
And I look over, and there's a pile of Godzilla 98 DVDs. Like a pile of them.
I know where this is going.
And I'm staring at them for like, I don't know, 10 seconds. And there's a bunch of thoughts going through my head, but one of them is, who had the balls to bring Godzilla 98 DVDs in here? And seemingly reading my mind, out of the corner of my ear, I just hear Dylan go, who brought that trash in here? And I just had that thought of, like, fucking Adam, like, sitting in a room of, like, geeks, and he's wearing his Creature from the Haunted Sea t-shirt. And fucking, some guy is just like, who brought that trash in here?
Oh, my God.
In all seriousness, he loved it. He fell in love with it, right? And we started watching more Ultraman. But his mother comes up to me, and she points her finger at me, right? Because apparently he was scared of Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, God.
Which I was like, yeah, I can kind of understand that. But he was totally eating up, and I could tell he was scared, but he was like me at that age where I just wanted to be scared. I was like, I want to see what happens.
I want to shit my pants.
I want to shit my pants. Anyways, and she was like, you're converting my son into a giant monster lover. And I laughed, and I said, I know, I'm so proud.
Oh, wait, was she saying that, like, jokingly, or what?
She was angry.
Was she really?
What?
She was angry.
Oh, let me get into my inner Bill. Really?
Do I say that like that?
Yeah.
But let me just say this.
My entire
Do you
outlook
think
on life.
that's going to stop me? Do you think that's really going to stop me? No, it's not.
My cousin Bella was reaching an age where she actually starts to fucking remember shit.
And of course, she being the one that gave me that death stare.
Oh yeah, you met Bella. She was
the name of Bella. Anyone with the name of Bella.
No, Adam, no, don't go there.
This kid is like my niece. I protect her with a lion's ferocity. So watch your words, bro. Watch your words.
Is she gonna fall in love with a sparkling vampire? Has she been imprinted on by a werewolf?
No, then I'll disown her. But
Oh, okay.
But one of the first things I said, and this pissed off her parents so much because they know me, was it is my lifelong goal to turn this child into a Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, and I want you to hate it because it's going to make me it's going to make me all the prouder. So about 2 years have gone by.
So you say that to the parents, and I want you to hate it because it'll make
yes.
you even more proud.
Because I'll get more enjoyment out of it. Anyway,
because at this moment, none of you are safe.
Yeah.
So 2 years go by to the present day, and this is a couple weeks ago, and I'm up in my room. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I've got a bunch of Godzilla shit on the walls. Andres, you can attest to that,
right? Well, actually, you have more Batman than anything else.
No, I don't. I've got one Batman poster, and I've got 3 Godzilla posters.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, I have
75%, Andres.
No, he's not wrong. I have 2. Okay, one of them's not a poster; it's a decal. I have a Batman Arkham Asylum.
I don't care. Go on with the story because I want to hear how it concludes.
Fine. Anyway, so
Fine.
Bella comes up in my room with my mother, and they come in, and I'm like half in a daze because I just woke up from a nap. And I'm like, how the hell did you get up here? Since when are you climbing stairs? And she was like, oh, I came up here to use the bathroom. And my mom goes, oh, Bella, who's that? Pointing at one of the Godzilla posters. And she goes, that's Godzilla. And then she just starts rattling off all these facts about Godzilla to my mom. Like 90% of them are wrong, but still. And then the following week,
I would have been the proudest motherfucker face of that.
Well, hang on. It gets better. So the next week, my cousin Kristen came up from Kentucky to visit everybody, and she brought her son Aiden, who's a little bit older than Bella is. Bella is 4? I think she's 4, so Aiden's almost 5. And I had to babysit them one night because they were all going out doing some, girl shit. And I was babysitting them, and Bella and Aiden were both just like so excited because I went to their house the previous day for the 4th of July. And I was like, oh, if you guys are awake, maybe I'll show you guys a Godzilla movie when I come over to babysit. And they got so excited. And I come over, and Bella's sleeping, but Aiden is still awake. And he's like, his mother is like, I was going to put him to bed, but he said something about you showing him a Godzilla movie. And I was like, fuck, because I had things to do, and I was hoping they'd both be sleeping. So I could just do the shit I had to do. So Aiden sits with me, and I put on King Kong vs. Godzilla. Talking through the whole movie. He's just talking through the whole goddamn movie.
Like talking to you, or just talking like
No, he's talking to me. He's rattling again, kind of like Bella. He's rattling off all these facts he knows about Godzilla. Again, 90% of them are wrong. The one thing that he was convinced of that I found adorable was that he thought Godzilla was the good guy and Kong was the bad guy.
Nice.
And he's like,
"That's adorable. That is adorable. Oh my god!"
And
did he stated that Godzilla was a mutant iguana?
No, he knows the real Godzilla. He didn't mention. Oh no, he did mention 98, but he actually said that's a different Godzilla, and I was like, oh, you little fucking tyke! I'm so proud of you.
I know oh my god, that's exactly what this kid Merrick said. He was like, that's not Godzilla. When he was watching my mother put on something from 98, and she was like, look, it's Godzilla, and he's like, that's not Godzilla. And I gave him a big hug. I was like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, so he falls asleep like halfway through. And he wakes up the next morning, and Bella's up, and he wants me to finish the movie, and Bella wants to watch the rest of the movie. So they're both sitting next to me. We're watching King Kong versus Godzilla, and the fight's starting. And I'm like, who do you guys think is going to win? And Bella thinks King Kong is going to win, and Aiden... this is where the first fight starts, not the second one. Bella thinks Kong's going to win, and Aiden thinks Godzilla's going to win. And I'm like, okay, perfect. This is going to be brilliant. And it's like, Bella, why? And she goes, because Kong is the good guy. And Aiden's like, no, Godzilla's the good guy. And he's adamant that Godzilla's going to win. So the first fight starts, and Godzilla basically kicks Kong's ass. And Aiden's like, yeah, I'm right. Girls suck. Godzilla rules. And Bella's like, oh, I thought Kong was going to win. And I'm like, it's not over yet. We're only halfway through the movie. So the movie goes. Tokyo scene where Kong gets airlifted. We go to the next fight.
What a ridiculous scene.
I love that scene, though. It's so iconic. And fucking, I almost bought a print of that was a Biggie print, Andres.
Yeah.
The one of Kong. I almost bought that because I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he even did the weird thing with the leg. Like, have you ever noticed, like, in that one shot where Kong's being lifted up by the balloons, his leg looks kind of like dislocated or something?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
He kept that part of it in his print.
It was so cool. I almost bought it, but I was afraid I was going to run out of money, which I didn't at all because they closed the dealer's room early. Those fucking fucks. Anyway, so we're watching the second fight, and Kong's getting his ass kicked again, and Aiden's like, yeah, Godzilla's going to win. I'm like, oh, don't be so sure. I'm giving very obvious hints that Kong's going to kick, like Godzilla's going to lose. Obviously, they're four, so they don't understand subtlety. And the fight goes on, and Godzilla and Kong, at the scene where they're ripping through the pagoda, they're both like, they're both screaming for their respective monsters. Kong rushes, pushes Godzilla over the edge, and they both go, oh! They both audibly do that noise, and I was like, oh, this is fucking brilliant.
That is like the single cutest thing ever.
And Kong and Godzilla both go into the water, and they're both screaming for their respective monsters. Who's going to come up? Who's going to come up? Aiden's screaming Godzilla, and Bella's screaming Kong.
Get up!
And then Kong comes up.
Get up, you fucking lazy son of a bitch!
Mickey loves ya.
Oh my god.
You're going to eat lightning, and you're going to crap thunder. So Kong shoots up out of the water. Bella screams out in joy. Aiden gets so pissed. He's like, He's so mad. He's like punching the couch, and he's getting all pissed. And I was like, dude, calm down. It's just a movie. It was so adorable. I did. I just showed him the last fight from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Probably also not a, but also not a great one because that's one where Godzilla gets fucking killed first.
He does get slaughtered. Oh, you know what would have been a good one? You know what really, honestly, probably would have been a good one?
Yeah.
I would have honestly probably showed him the one from Son of Godzilla. The final fight on Son of Godzilla with the spider, because that one's just upbeat the entire time. Godzilla gets his eye poked out, but I mean it's very kid friendly at the same time. You have cute Minla walking around, and then you have Godzilla kicking butt. So I would have probably either gone with that one or the final fight from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster.
I couldn't find. These are what was available on YouTube though. So I was just picking them out of there.
Okay. Yeah.
But and I also watching a really bad version of the version of Mechagodzilla 2 that's on YouTube fucking sucks.
Terrible.
The quality is atrocious.
Well, that's the public domain version for you.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Andres, we should tell this story too. So
okay.
I think this was the last night we were at
Is this just going to be nothing but story night?
Yes, it is.
First,
that's what this podcast.
Well, first, I just want to share with you guys the print that we saw, the King Kong vs.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
I was interested in this. I was interested.
Oh yeah, it is cool.
No, this isn't cool. That is so cool.
This isn't going to be story night.
Imagine seeing that, having that on your poster, and people are going to be like, "The fuck."
Yeah, that is... Oh, God, I wanted this so bad. We're going to have this guy on the podcast at some point.
Hopefully.
I'm not sure
James
when.
Biggie was awesome.
Biggie is the fucking boss. Biggie and Quatch, man.
Biggie Quatch.
Biggie and Quatch.
And I did show you that
You have one static Quatch!
I feel really bad. Like, I should know who they are, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't know who they were either. I mean, you'll know their work. Do you remember that Jet Jaguar Agent of Seatopia thing that was floating around Facebook?
It's like he was basically foaming at the mouth for, yes.
That's James Biggie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's Biggie. And then Quatch is the guy who does all those redesigns of Godzilla monsters.
Yeah, I remember at the Q&A I showed you that redesign of Gigan. You're like, oh, I know this. I've seen.
That's him. Cool.
Yeah, we met that
dude.
Yeah,
we met that guy. I mean, everybody was super nice, but he was the first guy we met, so he kind of set the stage for the rest of the con. So it's very fitting, and also very fitting because it was his first G-Fest too. So it was cool. But anyway, so night before we're leaving, and what we would do every night is we had to get done, and we just put on the in-house Tokusatsu channel that they had going all throughout G-Fest, which was awesome.
How does that happen?
Oh, so apparently it was really weird with the first day
we got there. It was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, so we got there, we turn on the TV, and all of a sudden we are looking at a what do you call it? A monitor screen, like a laptop. It looked like
like a computer screen, like a desktop.
A desktop,
image.
Yeah. We were looking at a desktop image. We saw, the wallpaper, all the programs and everything. And we saw a mouse arrow moving around. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? Because, so there is clearly someone with a laptop connected to all these TVs.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And he's moving his mouse around.
But more than that, it was so fucked up because we're looking at this open, flash drive. And there's just names of all this shit you've heard of or shit you want to watch. Like, the one I saw where I was like, what the fuck was fucking Godzilla vs. Legendary Wolfman? And I was like, put that on! And they ended up putting on the Ultraman 66 episode where he fights Jiris. And these guys were like, oh, Bill, fucking watch. And I was like, alright. So we watched, the last 10 minutes of the Jiris episode.
And we were like, Bill, stop what you're doing. Look at it right now.
I was trying to unpack.
Point at it and laugh.
Anyway, so this is the last night, and we put on this... Oh, but it was so cool. They put on, Attack of the 50-Foot Monster Mania from AMC Monster Fest. They put on fucking stuff I didn't even conceive of existing, like Goldar.
Goldar, yeah. The space giant, yeah.
Yes.
The golden robot with,
It was the funniest thing ever, because Andres is in the shower. This is the first morning we're there. And Andres is in the shower. And Dylan and I are sitting in here like, what the fuck are we watching? And we're like, Andres definitely knows. And we're waiting. We're like, Andres, get the fuck out of the shower. And it's this giant gold dude.
Son of a bitch.
It's what we thought was this giant gold robot with rockin' 80s metal hair, fighting giant monsters on the moon and shit, and they would turn into planes, and it was fucking weird. It ends
with Japanese Gandalf in the side.
With Japanese Gandalf who rides a rainbow. It was so fucked up. I thought I was tripping balls, but I wasn't.
No.
This was live. Yeah. This is Ultraman style.
This was the very first Tokusatsu television production that aired 6 days before Ultraman.
Yeah, it was bizarre. So it ends, and then 5 minutes later, Andres gets out of the shower, and is just and we're just like, oh my god, you should have gotten out quicker, because we don't know what the fuck we were watching. So we describe it, he throws out one suggestion that wasn't Goldar, and then he's like, oh, you guys must have been watching Goldar, and we're like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, it's about plane people. And we're like, it's not a robot? He's like, no, they're literally people that turn into planes.
Well Goldar is...
So cool. Oh my god, I've totally seen this.
Yeah, so Goldar, he's not really he's not a robot, he's more like a living being of gold, made of gold.
So he's fucking...
A robot?
Let's see, what's something that's made out of metal?
Made of gold. I'm trying to think of like a point of
he was built by that wizard, I believe.
So he's kind of like a Transformer, kind of.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he's not. I mean, the Transformers are more obviously robots, but they're not really,
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, they're sentient.
I mean, the thing that just struck me was this fucking giant golden dude with rockin' 80s metal hair.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
here's my one.
What's really yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, it's that. I was at my uncle's house, having dinner at my uncle's house the other day, and we were talking about G-Fest, and he grew up watching Goldar or the Space Giants back when he lived growing up in Mexico. So yeah, this definitely it was kind of interesting seeing
Before the Mexican drug cartels took over, there was Goldar.
And he also grew up with the original Ultraman.
Right. So Adam, you've heard of this kind of thing, right?
Oh, I love it.
All right, David, this seems like it's right up your alley. Have you heard of Goldar?
Or the Space Giants?
Damn it, Andres! I was about to say Space Giants.
Oh, so it's not called Goldar?
No,
the show is called Space Giants, but the character you're referring to is called Goldar.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the show was called Goldar. That seems bizarre. At least they would call it Space Giants.
Well, this was the American title. In Japan, he's called Ambassador Magma.
Which sounds so much more awesome than...
Doesn't that sound more cool? Like fucking like he's a political motherfucker? So he shows up and he's like, here's why your politics are wrong.
Here's why your politics are wrong.
And
that would take care of the situation in Ukraine really quickly.
Giant golden motherfucker with rockin' 80s metal hair shows up and it's just like, hey, you fucking separatists, stop shooting down planes.
Here's my.
And yes, I'm aware that that's not exactly what happened, but I like to oversimplify things, so that's what I've done.
Here's what I think of your plan to fix the economy. He just shoots a rocket from his stomach at it.
Hey, Quebec! Yes, eh? You still want to be a separate country? Yeah. Well, fuck you then.
What's really interesting is that this all came from a manga that was written by the man who created Astro Boy.
Okay, yeah, I think I heard of that somewhere. I heard that somewhere.
But of course, I was obviously just like, oh, of course Andres knows what it is. But David, you've heard of this thing before?
Yeah, Space Giants.
Did you watch it as a child, or did you just find it later in life?
I think clips of it here now and then. I mean, I do research a lot of stuff and try to find these things, with my pirate ways. But yeah, amongst those, like, Space Giants, Spectre Man, Mirror Man, these Ultraman type henshin heroes, which I prefer than Kamen Rider, which I still love, but I prefer the giant heroes as opposed to the transforming henshin heroes.
I love
henshin heroes is like Ultraman, and then Sentai would be like the Sentai stuff.
Yeah, they're henshin heroes. I mean, it's kind of like it with Kaiju. It's not really directed towards giant monsters.
Right.
Kaiju means a variety of creatures, like it's not directly targeted towards creatures like Godzilla or Gamera. In Japan,
it just means strange, mysterious beast.
Yeah. Well, Well, I think
here's my question then. So it's like Kaiju. So in Japan, it means it's much broader than in America. But in America, where Kaiju means something very specific, does Henshin Heroes, or has that not really made an impact?
Normally, Henshin Heroes mostly refers to the human-sized heroes as opposed to the giant guys. Like, I think there's actually called them giant heroes and henshin heroes, and I think Ultraman kind of like walks the line between the two. Although he's generally
like Ultra 7. There are some episodes where he's normal sized.
Right.
I remember I saw the clip of Ultra 7 where he fucking blows L King's head off and his blood explodes, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that show doesn't fuck around.
I mean, his blood explodes. What the fuck, man?
There's another one where there's this monster, I forgot its name, it was like Birdon or something, and then Ultra 7 just slits its throat and yellow...
Spoilers!
And yellow blood just keeps splurting all over his face.
I find it weird that after Ultraman 66, all the Ultra shows just suddenly got very, very graphic in terms of their fatalities.
Yeah, with their blood exploding and all. That was the ultimate thing.
It's not just that. It's that sometimes Ultraman or the other Kaiju, they just rip each other apart, like literally.
They do.
Jesus.
Literally. Ultraman Jack. I love Ultraman. Ultraman Jack is overall my favorite one I've checked out so far. Because I've seen all the episodes.
Oh, by the way,
you've seen Quatermass in the Pit, haven't you, Bill?
I have. We talked about this once, yeah.
Did we? Oh, that's right. You didn't like the ending.
Well, I liked it. I liked the first half hour.
Or you felt it was underwhelming.
Well, yeah, because I was like, this is a really great build-up, and it's fucking scary as all shit.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
And
I remember as a kid being scared.
Oh, yeah, these bugs are trying to destroy the world, and I'm like, oh, that's it?
Well, no, I didn't. They're not trying to destroy the world. They're trying to repopulate themselves because they killed themselves off. It was.
That's right.
It turned out after doing some research on it, because I just watched it recently, that it was an allegory for eugenics. The movie was an allegory against eugenics.
Yeah, I mean it's but the whole build up with the ship and everything, it's so much better than the payoff.
It is.
And a lot of
I'm not going to disagree with you there, Bill.
Yeah, but you know what? It's also something that I think a lot of monster movies. It's a problem that a lot of monster movies tend to have, is that it's a struggle, because you build up something like that so well, but then once you finally get to the creature or whatever the horror is, it can be disappointing, and it's hard to make that work.
Exactly. I would love to. That's one of the movies that I would love to see remade, because I think here's what happened with the movie. I discovered was that they had a very tight budget, believe it or not, and they couldn't, because I think the whole thing of some humans have, or we humans have that, or some of us have it stronger than others, that DNA from the Martians. In it, which is kind of a cliche now because it's been done a lot, but including in the Godzilla series. But I just thought that's a really cool idea, that there's something that influences us, and that's where the inspiration for the devil came from, was because the Martians looked like that, and our early selves would fear them. And I think that just made so much sense. I was like, this is really clever.
I just thought that them being insects was a little weak.
Yeah, me too. I'll agree with that. I wish they were more humanoid. I really wish, that skeleton that they find at the beginning?
Yeah, I
really wish that they looked like that. I really did.
Yeah, I was just, based on that skeleton, you would expect something more like, do you remember, oh god, well, I expected like this, this is a horrible example, but it's the only thing I can think of. Do you remember fucking the Congo movie?
Yes,
with those
of course,
with those creepy looking apes. That's what I expected.
Well, here's the problem I have. I don't hate Congo. I don't. There's some stuff in it. There is some stuff in it like that. I think the final half hour with the white genetically altered gorillas is wonderful.
Are they genetically altered?
They are genetically altered, yeah.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a child, so I don't.
Well, I read the book. The book by Michael Crichton's one of my favorites.
I have to read that book. But I remember
the book blatantly explains right at the beginning, because that scene at the beginning where the guy from The Evil Dead gets killed.
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Bruce Campbell. That's in the book, and it's explained right from the get-go that you need to keep an eye open for these apes. There's rumors of these things, and you see them, and they're genetically altered. And they were built as basically guard dogs. Oh. They were made to be guard dogs for, I forgot what they were looking for, but they were guard dogs for that.
Isn't it like diamonds or something?
Yes.
Or at least in the movie. I don't know if
they were
the
treasure. I know that they were treasure hunting in a way. Yeah, it's.
There was a lost city.
Yeah.
Or something.
And then yeah. Yes, and
that's what fucking
the book handles Amy a lot better. The book, Amy's the best character in the book.
It's hysterical we bring this up now with genetic apes and an ape that does sign language, given the movie that just came out.
Oh yeah, it's so funny.
I know. That just occurred to me. I was like, wait a minute, genetically altered apes that do sign language. Hey, that sounds familiar. We should talk about that, because I want to hear your thoughts on this, since we talked about this movie on the show earlier in the year, so we'll talk about that in a minute.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Why?
Poor Kay.
Poor Kay? Well, I fucking loved it, I'll say that.
I know. I'm not gonna make you feel shitty about it. I just want to hear your thoughts, because I'm interested, because I know you're an Apes fan, and also you went into it not expecting to love it the way that everybody else thought they would. So that's why I'm interested. But anyway,
I will say this is all I really want to say about it, and that is it was a lot more intelligent than I thought it was going to be.
It was really very smart,
and a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
But you didn't feel it. It went by in flash.
Right.
I was like,
the only reason why I discovered that it was a lot longer than what it was because I knew in the back of my mind that I had to do a live show at 10, and I was like, shit. And I promised the guy that I went out with that I'd get him dinner. And when the movie got out, it was 9 o'clock. I was like, fuck. That's why
we're going to McDonald's.
That's what he said. He was like, Adam, I'll go to Burger King. It's like,
wonderful date you are.
And I looked at him and I was like, are you really sure? Because I feel so terrible. I mean, I could just put off the live thing. I'm not getting paid for it, so I don't really care.
Like, screw it. We'll pick up something at Little Caesars.
Yeah.
We don't have.
We're gonna go to 7-Eleven.
We don't have either of those up here.
Really? I don't have the Little Caesars around here, but you guys don't have 7-Eleven?
We don't have a single 7-Eleven up here. No.
Do you have Wawa?
We have something instead of 7-Eleven. We have Jiffy Mart.
Wait a minute. Do you have Stewart's up there?
No.
No? Okay, because Stewart's is more north, and we have those in upstate New York, so I thought maybe you guys might have those.
No, I've heard.
That's like the 7-Eleven up there.
Don't think I haven't. I've heard of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because here's how it works. Wawa is down south, which shocked me that Dylan had never heard of a Wawa until we went on the road trip, because that's a southern thing.
Wawa. That just sounds awesome.
Well, it's basically a 7-Eleven. And then you have 7-Eleven. I mean, 7-Eleven's kind of national, but it's like that's toward, northern, towards the, center.
Yeah.
And then you've got Stewart's, and then whatever the hell you just said.
Yeah, we have, up here in New England, basically in New England, we have Jiffy Mart.
Do you guys at least have Starbucks? Because those things are everywhere. Wow.
We do not have Starbucks. We have Dunkin' Donuts because we're American.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Wow. America, Dunkin' Donuts.
I have never liked Starbucks. I've been to Starbucks quite a bit though. They're in the southern part of the state a lot more.
I'm not a coffee drinker, so I give no fucks.
I really don't like coffee. I really don't.
Neither have I, but
like if we pull an all-nighter, like if we make the SOS movie I'm writing, yeah, plug. There's no doubt in my mind that at least one of the nights that we're filming this, we're going to pull an all-nighter and keep filming all night.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't drink coffee. I pop 5-hour
I'm definitely drinking coffee that day.
No, I do 5-hour energies because, as Andres, that's how I function.
Right. I remember we all got those 5-hour energy. We just take one big gulp, and we were all like,
4:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
and we're just
we're like black. I have to drink.
We're fucking
coffee.
ready.
I like my coffee like I like my men, black.
I understood that reference.
Hot and black.
I do. Whenever I go to Starbucks, I always get the frappuccinos because I too am not.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
I like their hot chocolate. That's what I drink.
Because coffee's too mainstream, I have to go with frappuccinos.
Whenever I hear something like that, because I'll admit, when I go to McDonald's, I love their strawberry culotta. Not McDonald's, sorry. Dunkin' Donuts, I always want a strawberry culotta because I love them. However, I feel so...
Dirty?
I do, because I'm like, guys aren't supposed to... Ugh. And, which, actually, you know what? That comes to gender roles, which is actually a theme in my Mothra series. Anyways, however, so it's like whenever someone's like, I would like a cappuccino, a double espresso, and they like list off all the shit, and I can just totally picture the guy behind the counter was like, would you like to smell your own farts with that?
No, for me it's like everybody else is getting like legit coffee drinks. So I'm like, can I get a hot chocolate?
I know, I'm the same way. They're like, would you like a coffee? And even when I'm at a restaurant and they're like, would you like coffee? Yes. How about you? Would you like coffee? And I'm like, no, I just want. Could I just possibly have tomato juice? I I don't drink coffee.
Oh,
yeah, it's sort of like
you drink tomato juice.
I love tomato juice. I love tomato juice.
It's like straight.
Oh, yeah.
Straight,
oh,
like
yeah.
it's fucking booze.
Up here, tomato juice. Yeah, up here, tomato juice is actually quite common to drink at breakfast up here.
Really?
Well, because we live in a bit of a farm area.
I just shoot up heroin. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like a normal person and just shoot myself up with meth. And
I just lace my breakfast with fucking ecstasy. I mean, that's what I do. And my dates with roofies. It's it's you gotta be equal.
That's what all the kids in New York do.
Yeah, exactly. No, these guys were making fun of me because I drink soda with my breakfast.
Oh yeah,
Bill.
You drink.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, you drink diet.
Oh, yeah, I
diet. You and your Diet Coke 24/7.
Wait. Does that? Oh, is that why Dylan at the beginning of that video? I'm gonna drink. I want something to drink. How about a Pepsi or a Coke? Clicks diet. What the fuck is that shit? And he
yeah.
That way. Okay.
That was his idea. I just wanted to shoot him and just have him say the line and just move on. But he was like, "No, let's do like special."
That opening. That, and I loved it when you guys were talking about Sasquatch, and all I hear is Andre goes, "Adam?" And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like there was a storm going on the whole time these guys were in New York, or just multiple storms, I guess. And fucking in the middle of the podcast, it's like, bam! Something smacks up against the goddamn house, and I'm like, fucking Sasquatch, man. But what the fuck? What the fuck were we talking about? I don't know. We never fucking finished
the story.
We never finished.
There's a story. Can I just point out right now that David and I are the only two in the East to West crew that kind of have a date, or kind of dating someone.
Oh, I thought you guys were dating each other. I was like, what?
Yes.
Dave, did you finally give in?
Finally,
no, Bill. Jesus fucking Christ.
You guys would be so horrible together. I can't even comprehend. You guys are just on the complete. I mean, I guess opposite attract, but it's like completely different worlds from each other.
No, Bill. The one where we'd be terrible for each other is me and Andres.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. You guys would be cute. You guys would be like.
No, I can't. No, I wouldn't be able to stand this motherfucker. Him and his fucking pretentious ass negativity.
That's what would make you guys so cute together, though. No, when we were driving the G-Fest, fucking, I took a nap. This is before I puked, but
yeah.
Yeah, there was. You didn't know. We told this on one of the podcasts.
He puked from. He puked to an over. He puked due to an overdose of the diabetes.
Diabetes.
I was scared.
Oh, I just
wasn't afraid to die.
I thought you just saw Joss Way's portrayal of the Obese.
No, he hasn't.
No,
he
drew the Obese.
Oh my god, yeah, he drew the Obese, and that is totally what I'm doing because we could totally make that into a man in a suit.
I did not know he drew the Obese. Somebody sent me this image.
I asked him to. I was like, after drawing the 67 version of.
I saw that like way after.
After he was done that, I was like, hey, could you draw the Obese? He was like, oh, what does it look like? And I was like, I can't remember. And Andres reminded me that Dylan drew one, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, I hated that design. No offense, Dylan. Or that's not what I pictured the Obese to look like. More like a Dylan. But I was like, I just pictured this blob of fat with Kevin Smith's head. And so he actually drew it.
Oh my god.
Wait, he never shared it, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh, really? Because I never saw it.
Yeah. It was on my post where I said, when you're depressed and writing Godzilla, you make some very interesting decisions.
I think I remember that post, but I never saw the picture.
I didn't see the picture either.
I got it. Well, I forgot to save it, but I'll look at it a little again. Or I can just ask him to upload it again because it looks awesome. I'm like, yes, this is what I pictured the Obese to look like.
Yeah, Dylan drew more like Clayface, and right now Dylan is sitting at home with a violin playing, crying.
Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. Dylan, seriously, please don't take offense to what I said. In all seriousness, please don't take offense
Adam,
to what I said.
This is Dylan we're talking about. He's not offended by anything.
Speaking of Dylan, we did have this one idea that we thought of doing just to just to
Piss
mess
me
with.
off.
We'll mess with you. Where it's like, if we ever got that autograph of Don Fry, we were planning on making you think that we burned it on camera. It's like, see this, Adam? Yeah, fuck you.
I would have cried. I would have, because the week that you guys went to G-Fest was awful here.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, that sucks.
And if I saw you guys done it, I would have probably left SOS.
What we weren't actually going to do, we were going to do it with CG or whatever.
I probably, and I'm not joking, I probably would have left SOS.
Well, you see, the thing is, we would have made a photocopy of it, and then burned that, pretending it's the real one.
Now, my point was, we're not getting this fucker's autograph anyway, because that line is gigantic.
Yeah, so. Andres told me, thank you guys for at least thinking of me.
Well, it was just, we didn't get autographs from any of those Japanese celebrities they brought over, anybody from the movies. We just got the artist.
Even though you guys saw Tomoko Ai in an elevator?
Yeah.
We didn't know it was her, though. We didn't realize.
Oh, my God.
She was walking away. Well, I suspected. I looked at Dylan and I was like, is that fucking Tomoko Ai? And I should have known, because she was fucking holding a 75 Mechagodzilla in her hands. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But
I would have been like, kissing her feet. I would have been like, oh my God.
She looked great. I mean, she aged amazingly.
I don't even want to.
She was really young. I think she was only 18 when she made Terror Mechagodzilla.
Shows she looked amazing.
I don't even
want. You know what? Hey, Andre. Speaking of her young age in Japan, you know how you said it kind of bugs you that there are underage people in Evangelion, underage nudity.
Right.
In Japan, the age is 13.
That's the age of consent?
Yeah, that's
I was aware of that, and I am aware that tends to be a thing.
It does bug me too.
Yeah, I'm aware that tends to be a thing where they tend to sexualize underage characters. And
for here, it's underaged. For there,
yeah, I mean, for them, it's not underage. I mean,
it's like
it's this weird place of like, you know.
Well, it's
for God's sake, look at Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon is pretty tame.
It's very common in Japan to see people dating people that are 10 years older than them. And for here, we're like, ugh. But there, it's just normal.
Well, it would have been that shocking like 20 years ago, but nowadays it is a little strange.
Here it is.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that
bug me. I guess it just doesn't bug me as much just knowing that culture section. It just doesn't bug me.
Although
it is awkward seeing naked Shinji. It is awkward seeing that.
Oh, I do want to say that what they show in Evangelion is pretty tame in comparison to
it is
like the more dramatic stuff that they would have in Japan. I mean, the interesting thing is that there's this anime called
just to tell you guys to suck it on Toho Nation, who are like, Karu isn't gay. Yes, he is. The manga confirmed it.
Karu.
What? The white-haired kid.
Karu is the final angel.
Wilfred Billy doesn't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't know about that angel stuff.
No, I don't.
There's a character in Evangelion who becomes very, 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 very close to Shinji.
Okay.
And very important. And he's my favorite character, and not just because he's gay. He literally is my favorite character. And besides Gendo. And
Gondo? What? No.
No, if Gondo was in this, he'd be piloting the Avas. No,
if Gondo was in it, I would have been an Evangelion fan years ago.
He's like, "Fuck you, teenagers! I'll show you how a real man pilots."
Stick to smoking.
I posted on the Gay Geeks Facebook group. Somebody asked the question, "What's your favorite anime?" And I posted Neon Genesis Evangelion, and. And out of all the comments, I had the most likes because people, and all of the comments driven towards me was like, Adam, are you serious? Really, Neon Genesis Evangelion? I was like, yeah, it's phenomenal. It's deep. It's intense. It's thought provoking. And then
someone came out and said, "You pretentious motherfucker."
Somebody did. Somebody called me extremely. You're extremely pretentious, and I commented back saying I may be pretentious, but at least I can think.
Oh, too deep.
Rare.
Hashtag too deep for you.
I actually put it. I actually put the hashtag too deep for you. And I was like, this is the first time I ever used a hashtag.
Is that like a common hashtag? I mean,
it's a common hashtag. Evangelion fans have an inside joke where people, because you either love Evangelion or you're turned off by it. If that makes any sense. You don't necessarily hate it, like Andres doesn't hate it, but he has big issues with it.
But I still respect it in the end.
Exactly. People respect Evangelion. They really do, other than Bennett. But, fuck Bennett.
Who?
Bennett the Sage from That Guy with the Glasses.
Oh, okay.
He hates the show so much. However, there's a joke saying too deep for you. Like, the number 2, deep, number 4, letter U. And that's been the running joke with the Evangelion fans. Now, unfortunately, some people take it seriously, and I'm like, that's so stupid.
I did took it seriously. I initially took it seriously, knowing you, Adam. When you first pulled that shit.
I'm so sorry, Andres. I thought you'd know about Too Deep for You.
He was crying with violins playing now.
I really honestly thought you knew it, Andres, because you knew Evangelion long before I did.
Right, but I only knew like the show itself and nothing more. You, however, did your research.
I did do my research.
I didn't know about this 2D for you crap.
And David knew it longer than any of us.
Oh, and David, so you like the show more than the movies?
Yeah, surprisingly I do. I have like a...
I love you.
I have conversations with my friends, including Andres, who preferred the rebuild movies for a variety of reasons. I love the rebuild movies, but I prefer the anime because the rebuild movies, they cut the themes and the more deeper stuff that made the anime what it is. And given between the two, I prefer the anime.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people say, and Hideki Anno did say, when asked, why did you put religious symbolism in there, he's like, he answered, because it looked cool. However, if you know your Bible, and he said, and I was like, however, if you know the Bible like I do, and if you know your religious text like I do, the themes are still there. For example, in the next episode of Congratulations, I mentioned that Misato always has the Greek cross on her. What does the Greek cross represent? It represents two possible things. It represents A, strength, and B, light, or usually some sort of representation of light. What is Misato? She is the hero of Evangelion, if you really look at it. She is definitely the strongest character of the show, because even when that horrible trauma happens to her, she still manages to get up and able to lead Nerve. She's still able to get up and do that, so that represents the strength. So therefore, that works with her. And she's also upbeat, all things considered. She can at least put on the persona that she's upbeat, which goes into the light. And then something else with all the crosses, more specifically the flaming crosses. What do the flaming crosses represent? Cross in Christianity really represents unity. It really represents, basically, it's drawing people towards the cross, and it's a symbol that people gather around and people worship. What is the Human Instrumentality Project? All of humanity being formed into one being, super being. So therefore, the crosses make the themes are there, and it looks goddamn beautiful. But I think
that whenever somebody says that who's created something that has a lot of those symbols in it, they're either lying or they're misdirecting the person asking the question in order to avoid giving away the themes that they put in the show. Because what tends to happen is if an artist or a creator is asked that kind of question, they'll usually say something like that in order to avoid giving away what they wanted to implant and taking away the experience of analyzing it yourself.
Granted,
which is
also,
why
when Anno was asked that question, he was still really depressed, and he wanted to avoid the audience as much as possible, because the thing that makes for me the anime. I mean, I love the rebuild movies, but what makes the anime better is just how Hideki Anno's not dumb. He's not. A lot of people think he is, but he's not. He really is. He really is the Stanley Kubrick of anime, Bill. He is. Not just with not just with Evangelion, though that's what he's most famous for. But all of his other shit. He's done a few OVAs.
Gunbuster, which is another giant robots-related thing.
Yeah, well, he didn't really have a huge... He wasn't anywhere near as involved with that as he was Evangelion. But all of his stuff have his style, and that is... They're very odd, and they make you think, believe it or not. And... See,
that's Kubrick for you.
I guess it's something I'm attracted to, I guess. It's stuff that makes me think I'm attracted to.
You see what you did, Wilfred Billy? We're now part of congratulations. You made Adam go on his discussions.
Why is this my fault? I had no part in
because
in
we
this.
blame everything on you because this is your show. Now, if this was Shoe Watch, I would have told Adam to shut the fuck up so we can move on.
I don't really care.
I would have blamed Andres first if this was Shoe Watch.
I just kind of like to let things flow. You know what I mean? Just let things flow, man.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's fine, dude.
Yeah, it's alright.
See, I don't
listen
to these guys. These guys are assholes, man. It's all good here. We accept everything here, man.
Wilfred Billy.
The Sons of Serizawa. What the fuck do you want from me, David? I'm trying to run a goddamn show here, and you're distracting me. Jesus Christ! No, I'm kidding.
Is that what you were doing, Bill?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I like to supervise.
I just thought of something.
No,
I just thought of something. And Bill, you're gonna get the reference.
I probably won't, but go ahead.
Okay, this is basically a reference back to your earlier comments. I'm not gonna bring it up again, but Andres is Marie and Adam is Frank. There, I said it.
I don't understand.
Oh, that's adorable. That is so adorable.
I
that is fucking adorable.
I was scared.
I'm scared.
Wasn't afraid to die.
Andres, I'm scared.
That was a fucking Everybody Loves Raymond reference.
Huh.
Wouldn't have seen that.
I take it you guys never seen Everybody Loves Raymond.
No. Okay, now I get it. Now the old couple.
Yeah, that's the
greatest television dad ever, Frank. Yeah.
That's Peter Boyle. That's
young
Frankenstein's monster
from
Young Frankenstein.
I'll be honest. This is why I don't get it. I never watched the show.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's I grew up with it because it's a show that takes place on Long Island about people who live on Long Island. So
was it accurate?
It's pretty boring. So yeah, it's pretty accurate.
I love it.
No, but what it captures so well that it's very much so what it's like to live on Long Island is they live in the area that I live in, and it's very much so it's this kind of bridge to the city. So it's very much like, we live on Long Island, but a lot of our life takes place in the city, which is very much so how it feels to live on Long Island, especially Western Long Island. When you go more out east, you get more into like Jaws territory, where it feels very disconnected, and it's just more about the beach life and the fishing. But that part I'm connected to because I'm a Billy Joel fan, so that's why I'm connected to that.
By the way, my favorite line of Marie and Frank's was that episode where Marie backs into Raymond's house, and Raymond goes, Frank was like, "Why didn't you let me drive? You can't see. I can see a house."
I don't know why, but that reminds me of that scene from fucking Christmas Vacation where fucking the woman,
Christmas Vacation,
the ancient aunt is like, "Do you hear that? It's like a squeaking sound." And her husband just goes, "You couldn't hear a dump truck going through a nitroglycerin plant." That line always cracked me the fuck up. Let me just say this. Since I just let you guys talk about Evangelion, I'll just say this briefly since we're talking about shows.
Bill.
Yeah.
Evangelion.
Yeah, that thing.
No. Evil gelatin.
Evil gelatin. That's what I'm going to call it. Evil gelatin from now on. I've recently gotten into something that my friends have made fun of me for because I'd never heard of it. Which is the Machinima series, Red vs. Blue.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, you've never heard. Oh my god, I don't even play.
I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was called that and it had something to do with Halo. And I started watching because they just put the first 5 seasons on Netflix, and it's fucking funny, man. And here's what I love about it. It's like everything I love in a show like that is there. It's this overly complex but brutally simple premise with characters who bicker constantly and hate each other, but also love each other. That's what I was reminded very much of how I did the Godzilla gang.
Wait. This sounds a lot like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's...
I was thinking that.
That's how I felt about it. It's really funny, and also, it's just you get to... What struck me so much about it is that you just get to know these characters who just do nothing but fucking bicker and just... They're so obsessed with their own little conflicts that they're willing to sacrifice the rest of the universe just so that way they can outdo each other. So, for instance, it's like
evil gelatin.
So it's like, oh, I don't want to give you... So it's like, oh, I don't want to give you the pleasure of thinking we're friends. I'm going to let the whole universe die. So fuck you.
That's evil gelatin.
My favorite scene so far, and Adam, you'll appreciate this. Obviously, it's about two teams, the red team and the blue team, who are fighting over this box canyon called Blood Gulch.
I know.
And
I love
they have no reason to be fighting whatsoever aside from they have a base, they have a base, they have a flag, fighting. And there's a scene where, if you know anything about Halo, there's a scene where the red team gets the Warthog, which is the Jeep. And
I love this episode.
Sarge is telling them why it's called the Warthog, and Griff, who's my favorite character aside from Church, just goes, why are you calling it the Warthog? It looks nothing like a Warthog. And he's like, all right, Griff, what do you propose? He's like, I don't know, it looks more like a puma. Like, what's a puma? It's like a big cat. Sarge just goes, you're making that up. And Griff just goes, no, it's a real animal. And I just love how Sarge is just like, Griff, if you're done making up fictional animals, I think I'm going to call this the Warthog. And Griff just goes, okay, Sarge. And Sarge is like, are you sure, Griff? Are you sure you don't want to name it after any more mythical creatures? Bigfoot, perhaps. Unicorn? Sasquatch, even. I love that scene so much. Because then the following...
That show is beautifully written.
It is. It really is. And the scene following it is the best payoff ever, where Church and Tucker are looking through the sniper rifle, and Church just goes, "Oh my God, they just got a new car." And Tucker goes, "What does it look like? What kind of car is it?" And he just goes, "I don't know. It looks kind of like a big cat." And Tucker just goes, "You mean like a puma?" And Church just goes, "Yeah." And then, of course, you've got Caboose.
I love that kind of comedy that relies way more on witty dialogue.
Yeah, it really is.
That show is dry humor. That is dry humor.
Yeah, I mean, but I also just I love the cursing. I don't know why. I just love the cursing. It just makes it feel. You know what it makes it feel like? This is another thing I love about. This is my other big brand of comedy. Just a bunch of friends or people who are just connected personally. Just talking very candidly and just fucking making fun of each other, and that's what Red versus Blue is. It's a red team and a blue team just fucking sitting around shitting on each other, but also, that's part of what being friends is, at least in that kind of environment. And then every now and then something will happen plot-wise that is because of their bickering. And that's what I love about it. And again, it's very much so like us, which is why I think I like it so much. But if you're one of those people who, and here's my thing, I have never been a Halo person. I've never had an Xbox console, never played more than a couple levels of the games, have no connection to the story. But Red vs. Blue isn't about Halo. The first episode has one reference to Halo, and then the rest of it is completely its own thing.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how this started out as like a fan project, and then it got Microsoft's backing, and now they made a whole entire like money-making franchise out of this, with
it's
and everything.
A big franchise.
Blu-ray releases and everything. Yeah. It's not a parody of Halo. I mean, it certainly pokes fun at it every now and then, but it's not a parody of Halo. It's a parody of military life, of science fiction properties, and it's just, making fun of your friends. I mean, that's what it's all about.
God, this episode of SOS is kind of deep.
It is a little deep. But what also is so genius about it, and something I've also always been a big fan of, is explaining things that are just super simple that don't need to be explained. Because in the first Halo game, all it was is it's a red team and a blue team made up of Master Chief clones fighting each other. And it's capture the flag. But somebody was like, oh, what would happen if we added a story into this? And that's how you got Red versus Blue.
Now, are the characters? I know I've been aware of Red versus Blue for quite some time, but never had the time to sit down and watch it. But are the characters themselves? Are they? Are they supposed to be actual characters in the Halo universe, or
they don't to get into that? I mean,
are they being controlled by gamers in?
No. It's kind of like that, or that's what they imply in the first couple seasons, but that's not what's going on. This is a spoiler, so Andres, if you don't mind me spoiling the big reveal, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
And if anybody listening is thinking of watching Red vs. Blue, which, by the way, they just put it on Netflix. It's a great way to watch it. They remastered all the audio from Season 1, so definitely check it out. But if you don't want to hear the big... Well, it's not the biggest spoiler, because there's a lot more big reveals that happen, particularly in Season 6.
Skip, 1 or 2 minutes.
Netflix. The whole reveal is that they're not games being controlled by gamers.
Uh-huh.
They explain it in universe as... they're simulations for all of the human military force in Halo's weapons and soldiers, and all the people they throw in there are failed soldiers, but they don't know that. They think the war they're fighting is real. They think that there's actually a red team and there's a red army and blue army fighting each other for control of the universe.
Wow!
But what you learn is that they both have the same fucking command, and whenever they call into command, they learn that they're talking to the same dude.
Uh-huh.
It's really genius, and that's also why I liked it so much, was because it's because it's not that obvious, like, oh, we're not real, we're all these fucking computer programs fighting each other. No, they're real people. They're just in universe. They're just not real soldiers. Which is so funny because Sarge is like this typical fucking space marine type dude who's all like, I want to die pleasurably in battle. But Adam, you were saying something about Sarge?
I love Sarge. I can't remember what I was going to say, but I just found it so genius. That review to be complete. It's so... You expect it. It's like, oh, I know this is coming.
Yeah.
But it's so fun seeing the characters react to that.
Because it's like, none of them fucking care. They're all just like,
and I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised that South Park does that a lot.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about it is, Sarge is the one who gives the most fuck about the war.
He gives the most fucks.
Yeah, he gives the most amount of fucks.
He's the Bill O'Reilly of the group.
Absolutely, that's so fucking accurate. Especially when Lopez gets his speech box. Speak English, you dirty, you dirty robot. I also love how the robot thing is turned into a fucking like proxy for being Mexican.
Yeah.
Especially later on. This is, again, only up to Season 5 is on Netflix, because that's the original Blood Gulch Chronicles. Everything after that is separate stories that are done in either 1 or 2 seasons. The one after Season 5 is fucking amazing.
They're all up on YouTube, I know that.
Yeah, they're all on YouTube, but the ones up on Netflix are only 1 through 5. Which sucks, because the ending is kind of a cliffhanger. And leads into the next...
Oh, it's like Attack on Titan.
Oh, is that true? Does that end on a cliffhanger?
Not really. More of a...
Oh, yes, it does.
No, it's more like this is the end of one story, but there's still a whole lot more to tell. Kind of like episode 4 of Star Wars. You know, they won the battle, but the war still goes on.
Right, okay, I got you.
Okay, yeah, that's an accurate depiction. Never mind.
Well, I guess that's kind of how Red vs. Blue ends, too. It's not like... You know what? It's true, because it's like it concludes the story, but obviously something more is supposed to happen next. And what's weird, the next season actually I think would work so much better as a movie, because and I watched it as a movie because I watched it as one giant thing, but it's such a epic story, and each episode.
Funny.
It's bizarre because here's the thing about Red vs. Blue. Only our main characters are all complete fucking idiots, with the possible exception of Church. But even then, he's more angry than idiotic. But everybody else...
He's essentially the Atom of the group.
Yes. I would say I'm Tucker.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
I'm totally Tucker. Every joke is a sex joke. David, I would imagine, would be like... See, Adam, you're an amalgamation of Sarge and Church, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I always thought I was Sarge at first, but then I realized that the other guy was like so condescending towards everything and angry.
You know what?
And I was like, yeah.
I think I'm Tucker. David is totally Griff because he's fucking lazy.
Oh yeah, because Bill, you're so.
I know, but Tucker is energetically lazy. Griff is just lazy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because Tucker doesn't get anything done either, but it's more of like, he more comes up with excuses for it. I think I'm closer to that. Andres, you're absolutely Simmons. You're totally Simmons.
Yeah,
I would respond, yes, but I don't know who that is,
God,
which makes me now want to see the series now.
I'm not going to tell you why you're Simmons, but you're Simmons.
I'm totally going to watch this show again now. Thanks, Bill.
Wait a minute, who's Dylan? Dylan's not Donut.
Really?
No, I don't think Dylan's also definitely not Caboose, because Caboose is fucking brain dead.
No, he's not Caboose. And Dylan, arguably, is the smartest one out of the group here.
I guess that he would be Tex, because Tex is the yeah, he's absolutely Tex. Tex is the no-nonsense soldier of them. I mean, Tex is a girl, but I guess, whatever. Dylan's gonna have to
Somebody make fan art of us as the red versus blue team.
Yes! Yeah!
Jose.
I'm Tucker.
Or
Adam's Church.
Or Josway. Either of you guys. Both you guys.
Yes, the two of you. Turn us into the red versus blue crew.
The two Joes.
See if you can, see if you can put our faces actually like behind the masks, because I'm sick of not being able to see faces.
Yes. Well, I've seen fan art of the red versus blue teams with their masks off. I don't agree with all of them. I don't like the way they draw Griff. But I mean, you see part of Church's face earlier in the show.
Well, that's a reference to them hinting at what Master Chief looks like all the time.
Yeah.
Because you never know what Master Chief looks like.
I never want to see Caboose's face, because Caboose is just this faceless, brain-dead, but lovable person. I don't want to see his face.
I know. He's so adorable.
Because that blank... Well, cause it's so fitting, because what happens in the show, and this is another spoiler, is they go into the future. And they do this in order to update the graphics from Halo 1 to Halo 3.
Which is genius.
So clever. But it's also really clever because they send everybody else into the future except Church, who gets sent back into the past Halo 1. So they throw him... I think they throw him into fucking Doom, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it is, it's some, 8-bit version of Church. Like this 8-bit Space Marine. And they give... I believe... I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I have to look it up, but it's hysterical. But everybody else gets thrown into Halo 3. And, Caboose is the only one who keeps the fucking Halo Combat Evolved armor, where it's more simplistic. And it's so fitting because he's the one who's most simple-minded. So I love that visual representation of the characters, which I think is really, really cool. It is a very extremely well-written show. One of my favorite comedy shows of all time now. I love it so much.
It's so smartly written. If anything, it's just how it's written is genius.
Yeah, and it's also so cool because the characters are all fucking idiots. It's so clever that the show is so... Which I think that's how you have to do it. If you're going to write a show with characters who are not all completely brain-dead, like Caboose is, but all, simple-minded, you really have to have a clever person behind the pen in order to make it work.
Speaking of being brain-dead, can I talk about my fucking dog?
Yes, tell this story.
No, why don't you... Right now?
Well, you asked.
I mean, you
just asked.
I was saying it as a joke. I was expecting Bill to finish what he was saying.
I mean, I don't know what else to have to say. I mean, I haven't finished the show yet. I mean, I finished everything that's on Netflix, but right now I'm in the middle of season 7, and I think there's 11 seasons.
Oh God,
I think 11.
I'm only halfway through season 6, I think. Yeah, I'm not.
Season 6 is my favorite. It is so fucking good. The ending reveal is better than the big reveal of what's going on with Red vs. Blue.
The big reveal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's big and veiny. But Adam, you find something out about one of the main characters that it makes so much sense, but it's fucking shocking. Anyway, so watch Red vs. Blue. It's awesome. It's It's the original machinima type thing.
Before they got all corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if you're a fan of something like Halo has a lot of these, and so does World of Warcraft of these machinima shows.
Yeah, they do.
So if you're a fan of any of the Warcraft ones or anything done in game that's turned into a story-driven series, definitely check out Red vs. Blue because it's kind of the first. And one of the best. So anyway, Adam, tell your dog story.
Okay. So, we're running out of wood, because we sell campfire wood out in front of our house, right, for $3 a bundle, and people burn it, and because we had, like, a wicked heat spell the last few days, and, like, so a bunch of people were buying campfire wood, right, and we were running out of wood. So my father comes in, yells at me, and goes, Adam, we're getting fucking wood. Okay. So we go out in the middle of the woods, where we've been getting the wood for quite a while, because there's these big, gigantic-ass pieces of pine, because they're fixing one of the roads, and they cut some trees down. They just kind of laid them off to the side. We got a hold of them, and they're huge. So I'm wheeling them up, so I have to wheel them up into the back of the tailgate of our truck and shit like that. And it was a pain in the ass because they're all knotty, and they don't like to roll for shit. And because I'm not picking those motherfucking things up, so I have to roll them up. Anyhow, this isn't about that.
This isn't about Adam's
my fucking dog did. This isn't about my manliness, where I eat bacon off of a football.
My bacon is surrounded by more bacon.
While smoking a cigar. Anyway.
Drinking a pint of beer.
And riding a rocket to school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the rocket, it has stars and stripes.
I ride rockets all the time. Just not those kind of rockets.
Yeah, I'm staying silent for that one.
Okay. Anyways, so what I'm going to talk about here is my fucking dog dick. So I knew that there were berries up back there, and I knew there were berries because I'd feed them to my dog, and I'd eat them. They're raspberries, wild raspberries, and I love raspberries, so my dog and I are picking out on them for the last few times when we were up there. Well, my father's chopping up the tree with the chainsaw, and I'm waiting to roll them up into the back of that poor, insignificant shit truck. But however, on this journey into the massive wilderness, I'm walking along, and suddenly I see something horrible. Just awful. Just putrid. Just, like the most disgusting, vile, horrific possible stench that could fill your nostrils.
Ew.
And I turn around.
And didn't find a Sasquatch, which is strange. And
I didn't find a Sasquatch like I was expecting. No, I turn around and I find something worse. I found Kevin Smith. And, no, I found I see my dog standing there, wagging his tail, shit-eating grin on his face, tongue hanging out, doofus. Because he's a hound. Not just a hound, but a male hound dog. Which makes him even more stupid. And he's sitting there panting, all happy and shit. Come to find out as I approach him, he literally is covered in shit.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? And of course, course, he's still sitting there all content, happy as fuck, because he's a dog just rolled in shit. What's better in life than a dog rolling in shit?
They really are vile creatures when you think about it.
He just walks over to you. He's like, "Hey, Racky, check out what I did."
Oh, that's the lost episode of Scooby-Doo, where Scooby rolls in shit, and Shaggy has to clean him off.
If I can picture my dog having a voice, I think it would be Scooby-Doo's, because he's just that dense. He's that stubborn. He is that stupid.
No, imagine.
So I feel the same way about Simba, except now I hear Cabooses' voice.
Well, here's the thing. You know, with cats, how cats have like that level of intelligence. Like you look into their eyes.
Yeah, it looks like there's something going on.
You look into Buddy's eyes, my dog, and you see nothing but pure mixture of laziness and complete and utter stupidity.
Yeah.
Just like that expression.
Imagine now imagining like you and your dog are off in the woods trying to look for being chased by Sasquatch, going through like a montage.
My dog would go up to Sasquatch and be like, "Oh, let's be friends."
You
smell bad.
Scooby Snacks?
You smell bad. Let's be friends.
I love things that smell like shit.
And he's covered with it. Coated with it. He's got it all over his face, all over his front shoulders, right? And he stinks to holy high heaven. And a part of me is thinking that I think because the deer flies were terrible out here. I don't know if you have deer flies where you are, Bill. Probably not, but you said...
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and we have them terrible up here. They basically can all grab you and take you and fly you away. It's that bad.
We don't call them deer flies, though. We call them horse flies up here. Down here.
There's the same difference, yeah.
Yeah, they're the same thing, though, but they're like fucking the not the giant claw, the deadly mantis.
I was gonna say the Meganula.
No, the Deadly Mantis is one of those movies that scared the shit out of me as a kid because we have those around here, and they're fucking horrifying.
Mantises are terrifying. Andres, these things are horrifying than the Meganula. Deer flies are more terrifying than that.
And then when it comes to mantises, they trick you into thinking that they're all good and shit. They're all praying every day, and they're like, "No, just kidding. I was just blessing myself for the meal I'm about to enjoy."
Who are you praying to, Mantis? Satan.
What's your name, Mantis? Satan.
Sure, they're praying, but praying for
That's a strange name.
Anyway.
Life has no meaning.
So I go up and tell my dad the bad news. My buddy just found a... Well, no. Here's what happened beforehand. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And then I walk over, and he found a bear nest. And I could tell it was bear scat because it was covered with seeds. Clearly, I used to hunt bear, too, hence why I have a bear hanging up over my bed.
I love the word scat. It's official, but it's funny at the same time.
I think I used in my Facebook post, I put defecation or something.
Just trying to sound classy, even though the shit that we talk about on this fucking show.
But anyways, I see it there, and I'm like, oh, god damn it. And so I go tell my dad the bad news, and Dad's like, that fucking dog! Fucking thing!
Ah!
So I have to, because my dad refuses to let him get in the cab of the truck, since we just got this truck. And so I walk him back to my grandpa's house, which is quite a bit of a walk. And his location is during where we filmed the first action scene on Compound of Chaos. And so it's a nice little walk, and I'm walking by this house, and my grandpa's pretty good friends with them there. They know who I am, and they're like, oh, it's Adam. Oh, who's the puppy? She's about to pet him. I'm like, don't pet the puppy.
He's a lovely color brown, isn't he? No, he's not.
And then she's like, oh my god, he stinks. And I'm like, hey, he found a pile of bear shit. Actually, no, to be more specifically, I said he found a pile of bear shit. She goes, well, dogs.
And you went to town on it.
Yeah, he did. And I was like, dogs will be dogs. And I'm like, yeah. You see, that's the problem. It's like I couldn't be really angry at him because dogs fucking do this shit.
See, if that happened, I'd be like, you know what, you're disowned. You're out on the street, because I can't. My cat did that, I'd be like, we're done.
I bring him up to Dad's, up to my grandpa's. We split the wood, yada, yada, yada. Everything goes normal. And we're like, how the fuck are we going to get this thing home?
This thing, it loses all identity. So this fucking mass of flesh and shit.
Wrap him up in this blanket, in this sheet, not a blanket, sheet. And he's sitting on my lap, getting me covered in bear shit.
Yeah.
My home. And the thing is, he kept looking up at me, because he's literally sitting on my lap. He keeps looking back up at me, tongue hanging out. He's totally completely clueless.
But Adam, maybe that was a facade. Maybe he did this as like a big fuck you. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna roll around and shit and be all pleased at myself, just to say fuck you to these humans.
No, you want to know what I think he was doing?
What?
I think, honestly, he put it on himself to block the horseflies, because they were eating him alive.
Really? Wouldn't they be more inclined, though?
No, they wouldn't. No, horseflies.
You would think the whole
horseflies are weird. They're not like any other fly.
They're fucking weird, man. Fucking not normal flies. They're hipster flies.
Oh,
shit is so mainstream.
Let me tell you, if you're scared of horseflies, we have something up here called moose flies that are basically horseflies, but 10 times bigger. Literally 10 times bigger.
Terrifying.
And they hurt so bad when they bite you. They take like an entire chunk of flesh out of your arm.
When we came up with Moosla, I watched a documentary about moose.
I love moose.
And I remember seeing this fucking thing about them being attacked by termites or what? No, not termites. Whatever horse fleas or whatever. Whatever it was. Ticks. And they would literally.
Oh my god, there's so many ticks.
No, we have ticks. No, we have ticks. We have mad ticks down here. But they were like fucking killing these moose. Like it was an epidemic.
They were, yeah. There was a while where
of ticks killing moose, and I was like, oh my god, we have to create moosela ticks as an enemy for moosela.
They're like Destroya.
No.
Yes, and they come together to form a giant tick monster.
That's terrifying.
That's genius.
That's
terrifying.
But anyway, so we wheel Buddy home. He's still all happy and shit. Well, I'm covered in shit. And so we give him a bath and everything like that, and he hates every second of the bath. He's just sitting there like, what did I do to deserve this? and of course he goes outside because we bring him outside to air dry him, and he still stinks. Because now not only does he smell like bear shit, but he smells like wet hound dog.
Ugh.
And anyway, he comes in and he's all better now. But I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm like, you know what, dog? You're such a pain in the ass. But what the fuck would I do without you? And it was at that moment that I fully realized I am fucking in love with that dog.
I'll tell you this much, because I don't have a dog, but I have Simba, who might as well be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote about this on Facebook. One morning, I literally chased him around outside for a half hour, trying to capture him, because he got out. He's not an outdoor cat, he's an indoor cat, and we don't want him to get out because pushing gets hit by a car, which is not something we want. And I chased him for a half hour, and he was running in and out of bushes and running through yards, and I was chasing him through my neighbor's yards at like 8:30 in the morning, which is not okay.
Who the fuck is that kid on my goddamn yard? It's that fucking Worcester kid.
No, they don't know me by name. They're like, who the fuck is that fat motherfucker running through my backyard?
Daddy, look, it's Bigfoot.
Snaps a picture. I'm in the pose, and I just look at him.
The freaking the Finding Bigfoot team comes in. Yup, that's definitely a Squatch.
They do calls. I call back.
Well, you did make werewolf plays.
No. And fucking I get him. He's loving it, by the way. He's loving being chased because he gets to run around.
Yeah, he's thinking you're playing. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, that's all he thinks. But also, you can tell a cat is just fucking filled with energy when their tail gets all bushy, and they start to look like a raccoon tail. Mm-hmm. And that's what his tail looked like. And I chased him around. And I finally grabbed him, and I almost hurt him because I had to grab him by the legs and pull him. Mm-hmm. And he's covered in dirt, and so am I. So I threw him in the bathroom, and I just threw him in the sink and turned the faucet on. I was like, "You fucking get clean, you piece of shit!" And he freaked out.
Domestic violence, no.
It's so interesting because, like, when it comes to...
Get clean, you piece of shit! Oh my god, that man is torturing his child.
It's kind of interesting because for some reason, my Simba is one of the few cats I've ever seen that does not freak out when exposed to water or anything like that.
Oh my god, my cat will kill you. Oh man.
We usually let him bathe himself, but I got him clean and I, threw him back into the house, and it was horrible. I hate that cat. But I love him at the same time. I wouldn't chase him if I didn't love him. Mm-hmm. And didn't fear my mother getting pissed at me if I didn't, because if he got hit by a car. Mm-hmm. These are the two things that lead me to do the things I do.
See, my cat's also an indoor cat, and she's gotten out a couple times. But I do this thing because she's clearly my cat, because she hates everybody else but me. Like, she literally hates everybody else.
Most cats are that way. They're pretentious.
And the only reason why I think she likes her is because I'm the one that found her. And anyways, I just step outside. I'm like, did she get outside? God damn it, she did. And I go outside and just go, Pixie! And she goes, meow, 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 out from this palace and just comes running up to me. Meow, meow. And of course, she doesn't shut up. And I'm like, yeah, you're my cat. She looks like a bobcat.
Simba's weird. I don't know what fucked up genetics.
Bobcat. I'm sorry, not a bobcat.
Puma?
A lynx.
Does it look
like
lynx.
Oh. She looks like a lynx.
Hey, Church, what does their cat look like? I don't know, it looks like a big cat. Like, you mean like a puma?
Like a puma.
Stop making up animals, Adam. You're making that up. Anyway, what the fuck was I gonna say? I don't remember. I don't remember.
Pets do the darndest things.
Don't pets do the darndest things.
Bill, this is Jerry Lewis.
That should be the name of the episode. Pets do the darndest things.
Bill, this is Jerry Lewis. I just want to comment. No, Adam, this is Jerry Lewis. Just want to comment on your dog rolling in the shits with the poop and the bears and the ladies and the... Fucking take a 2x4 and smack him until I say, "Get out of the shit, you lazy son of a bitch!" Oh, I love that bit from Babylon.
Right. We cannot stop quoting that. We can throughout our whole trip back. Dylan especially was going. Bill,
every 6 seconds. Bill, this is Jerry Lewis. Or Andres, this is Jerry Lewis. I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill this kid.
Fucking driving next to us trying to kill us. This is Jerry Lewis. Could you stop with the changing lanes and trying to kill us? And
are you talking about the truck driver in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the truck driver.
You're probably gonna love me on the trip down there because I'm probably gonna fall asleep because I fall asleep really easily in a car.
Yeah, but the thing is, how are we gonna make room for you?
So did Andres, and he snored like a fucking animal.
Okay, I'd probably kill him.
Andres, the whole time you on the way home, when it was like 2 a.m, we just got into New York. When you were fucking sleeping, you were snoring so fucking loud.
Wow.
You were like a fucking bear. And Dylan and I are just going, this fucking kid.
Andres,
so we were trying to wake him up. We were blasting Billy Joel, trying to wake you up.
Really?
This is after we ran out of... We tried Ozzy. Ozzy didn't work. So we're like, let's try the opposite. Let's try Billy Joel. So we blasted...
I love that's your logic. Oh, well, Ozzy didn't work. Let's try the opposite. Oh, Billy Joel.
We put on... Well, I wanted to listen to New York State of Mind anyway, because we were driving into New York, and I was feeling I wanted to get home. So I was like, let's put on New York State of Mind. And we blasted it, and it didn't fucking work. This kid slept right through it. I was so mad.
I know I woke up at the point where we were... Before we reached Long Island, so...
the Frog's Neck Bridge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Throg. The Throg.
Frog.
So what did wake me up? That I just woke up by myself and was like, oh, are we in New York already?
Probably
song was
so loud you woke yourself up.
Like,
oh,
who was that?
wait, were you awake for All Time High?
Yeah, I was awake for All Time High.
So that was before we got on Long Island then. So what was on before that?
All Time High.
That was so much more fitting to play at the end of the trip than the beginning. I'm glad we did that. Because we forgot, the whole joke for the whole time we were playing the G-Fest trip was, oh, we're going to play All Time High and we're going to Chicago. Forgot, because we were so fucking stressed out trying to find the goddamn hotel. So we didn't remember until the end of the trip when we put it on. It was so much more fitting. We were all singing it. We sounded so fucking flamboyant. It was amazing.
Which is going to be so funny, because if you guys do that next year, I'm going to be sitting in the back, the one gay guy in the group, and I'm going to be sitting in the back.
We're going to have to rent
the
car next year. We're definitely going to have to rent a car next year because the original plan was to take 5 people and bring Nicola and her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And when we finally did the trip, I was like, thank God they bowed out because we barely had enough room.
So I'm assuming that if it was like...
I guess I won't go then if you guys are gonna...
No, we're just going to... No, we'll fucking rent a car next year.
Yeah, we're gonna rent the Duran Duran fan band.
Coming next year, bro? Are you going to fucking get the funds together?
I was about to say, if you guys are going to do that, I'm going to bring my own car so I don't have to listen to that damn song.
No. Well, Adam, here's my question. Are you taking summer classes?
No. However, I would be willing to stay down there.
Yeah, you know what? Because it wouldn't be... No, it would be pretty... We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Don't worry.
Well, I'm saving money for it, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. There you go. So
I'm
whatever.
already starting to save money for it, so...
Good, okay. So, Dave, would you do the whole fly-out thing like Andres and Dylan and Adam would do it, or are you going to...
Because if we can work that out, and if we can work out a week where we're just there, or not even a week, but like 5 days where we're just there, we could totally film the SOS movie.
It'd have to be a little longer, though, because
we were there for a week, and that was nowhere near enough time.
No, dude, you don't know. We never had a moment to relax. It was just we were doing shit constantly.
Also, Bill, since your camera was very low on both space in terms of memory and in terms of
functionality,
I will definitely bring my camera down there, and
please do, because mine's fucking piece of shit.
We could literally my camera literally has a 12-hour memory chip in it where it holds 12 hours of footage. And its battery can last up to a long time. We might be able to do the entire ride down there. I am not joking.
No, it's the ride itself is about
15 hours. Yeah, 15 to 17.
15 to 16.
Well, I mean, Jesus, if we even fucking... Well, I mean... We did it. I mean, it's not... Well, if we do it, you realize what I'm going to do, is that if we do it, I'm going to totally make like a documentary of our excursion with interviews and everything of us.
Kind of like what Doug Walker did when he first did that. What is it called? 1 year anniversary brawl.
Yeah, when he went to go see the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah, and the first time they ever had a crossover fight.
See, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I want to do with next year's thing when we go up there. Is just to do something.
We
like
need
that.
more time.
We piss Bill off, and he gets out, and he just starts walking away. Bill, I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to need
only for him to vomit shortly afterwards.
Yeah, that was what happened. Did we finish that story? We had McDonald's, and they put on the fucking diabetes shit again, and it was killing me. And I just kept saying to Dylan, or Andres, I was like, you have to fucking give me a minute, because I'm fucking puking, I'm driving, and this can't happen, this can't happen. So we're in the left lane, and I fucking pull the car over to the right lane, get out, and barf my goddamn brains out. Oh, it was horrible.
My parents might look at me as being retarded, because... Wait, what? God, that is pretty late. When did school get out for 510?
Oh, May 18th.
Oh, really? God,
that's May 18th, May 20th.
Yeah, it's around the time for us.
That's why I asked if you were taking summer class, because I thought that's how it was going to work, was you would be here anyway.
Fuck. Well, I might just have to next year, anyways, but fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it. I mean, you'll graduate sooner. I just didn't do it because I didn't feel like it.
And I've never taken any sort of summer class whatsoever.
I'm very much so like I need my summer. I need my summer
yeah.
to just reflect myself and just take a break. So
yeah, I need those.
I'm just gonna do the normal 4 years unless I really have to do the summer program.
Fuck. Well, it's not. Fuck a duck. I don't know what I'm gonna do to go down there.
Just take summer classes then.
Yeah.
Or just stay at Bill's house for 3 months.
I'm not going to put Bill through that kind of torture.
Maybe 2 weeks, most.
Yeah, well,
no,
here's the thing. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was going to be like, because nothing up here gets out, because if it gets out that early up here, if school gets out that early down there, we don't get out until mid-June here for anything, and that's when all the jobs open.
Right.
Fuck.
I don't know. We'll work something. We have a year. We'll figure it.
A whole year now.
Well, the big change we need to make is we need more time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't leave ourselves enough time to do everything we wanted to do. So I need to take more time off work, and you guys need to get here sooner, so that way we can. Or no, you don't have to really get here sooner. We just need more time at the con. We need to get to the con a day early and leave a day later.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got there. Getting there Thursday wasn't a big deal, and he put on this outfit, and I was like, oh my god, you look just like my friend Adam, because he had this camouflage one-piece suit on, giant boots, and he had a hunting cap on. I was like, you look just like my friend Adam, and he's tall like you, so it was weird.
Is he gay?
No. Is he gay? No, he's straight.
I'm gonna be looking.
Dude, don't worry. You're not gonna have a problem in that department at all down here. You got plenty of. Art school was wonderful for straights and gays. Because for me the women are loose, and for you the options are varied.
You don't want women to be loose, Bill.
Speak for yourself, bro. Speak for yourself. But anyway, so we're back now. Andres, how many news stories do you have? Because we're about an hour and 40 in, so.
Let's see.
And I have a massive headache, so I don't want this episode to be 3 hours.
Okay, well I just have like 3 main ones, I guess. Well, maybe like 2.5.
Let's fucking jump into 2.5.
All right.
One of the half. I love the concept of the half story. Like, it's not really a story, but it's like a half story.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so without any further ado, let's jump right into the general news update with Andres Perez. And now to you, Andres, with the general news update. So give me a minute, you start telling the story, I gotta go take a piss.
Great, he's not even gonna be here. So
Be right back.
So the first story that I had here is related to the fate of Amazing Spider-Man 3, where it seemed like before in the Amazing Spider-Man 2's release, it seemed like Sony had this big grand scheme to make this Spider-Man cinematic universe with a whole bunch of spin-offs and a Sinister Six movie and a Venom movie and maybe a Black Cat movie. And now it seems like all those plans are kind of like uncertain and are all up in the air now that one of the writers of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Roberto Orci, has left the franchise. So you now have and I think like a good portion of the team is left, and so now everyone's like, oh, nobody, like the remaining person, Alex Kurtzman, I think he's still on the project, and even he doesn't know what the plans are for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
See, I'm surprised that they're complaining about that, and not with the fact that Amazing Spider-Man 2 did terrible.
Well, that could be a result. Maybe you have like Roberto Orci's like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I thought he left because he couldn't deal with all the shit that went through Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, it could be, yeah. I mean, whenever I
production hell.
Yeah, I mean, I know that whenever I've noticed Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman's names. They're pretty much attached to almost half of the big summer blockbuster movies nowadays. And I always kind of saw those two as kind of like the Hollywood yes men's, where it's like they're competent writers, but they tend to just follow whatever orders the studio heads tell them to do, which is why...
So this quit makes it sound weird.
Right. And I mean, like, you take a look at the Star Trek movies, and they're competent in their own right, and yet these are the same writers that wrote all the first three, maybe four, I'm not sure, Transformer movies, and the writing for the Transformer movies are horrible. And I always thought to myself, these are the same people that wrote Spider-Man and Star Trek?
Well,
Which Spider-Man?
I think Star Trek's so horrible, so... or it's not Star Trek, so I want to attest to that.
Which is why I said they're competent movies. As opposed to a Star Trek movie, but
I mean, they're at least more well written than the Transformers movies.
Not going to argue with that,
right? Which is why I will.
Wait,
well, they're competent movies. It's just not a competent Star Trek movie. That's the key thing.
Fair enough. I agree with that. Although I still enjoy the second one.
Well, I don't think I don't. I appreciate them on their own right. That's what I do.
I agree though. They don't feel very Star Trek.
And being a non-Star Trek fan, I only have these movies to go off on, and I love them.
What they do is they often, and I've had a lot of Trekkers because I did Star Trek-orama and still doing Star Trek-orama, is that a lot of people have told me, they're like, what you might not like those movies, but what they did was introduce me to Star Trek.
Right.
And made me discover TNG, the original movies, and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, and you see, and because I got told that, I was like, I have a new appreciation for those movies. I really do.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, you know what I felt like I was having? You know how there were people who were like, oh, you can't be a kaiju fan if you only like Pacific Rim?
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically, and we were complaining about that, and suddenly I realized, what a fucking hypocrite, Adam. Because you're doing that with Star Trek.
Well,
and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll.
But Star Trek is different though because Star Trek is a direct adaptation, while Pacific Rim is paying homage.
Well, people are saying that with the new Godzilla movie, you know.
That they're not real Godzilla.
How dare you not be a Godzilla fan if you like the new Godzilla movie? Hell, if this Godzilla movie introduces you to the other Godzilla films, awesome.
Well, I think that's the difference though. If you just like this new movie, or let's go even more drastic. Let's say Godzilla 98 introduced you to Godzilla, which it did for a lot of people who are our age.
It did, yeah.
And then they got into the real Godzilla and appreciated that, and if they still like the 98 version, that's fine. But what I think you're referring to, and what I agree with this sentiment, is if you just watch the new Godzilla, or if you just watch the new Star Trek movies, and that's all you have, it's weird to call yourself a Star Trek or Godzilla fan.
Right, which is why I've never called myself a full-on Star Trek fan.
Right.
And the common misconception, too, is people say I'm a Trekkie. I'm not a Trekkie. I'm a Trekker.
Oh, you're one of those guys who says there's a difference.
No,
What's the difference?
The difference is a Trekkie will often... They dress up. They cosplay Star Trek all the time. They live and breathe Star Trek. Star Trek is their thing. Star Trek is right up there, but it's not the thing for me. I don't go to cons. I don't dress up. I don't have their uniforms. Yes, I can speak Klingon, but I don't...
I guess Trekkie would be the equivalent of what you are for Godzilla.
I am a Godzilla fangirl. That's exactly what it is.
A G-fan.
I agree with Matt Frank. We need a word for that, a better word than just G-fan.
We do.
I don't know. I've always liked G-fan because
I do like G-fan
because it sounds like G-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's even still, it's not specific enough to the fandom. We need to come up with a better one. I have no idea what it could be, but I agree with Matt Frank.
A G-Forcer? An Enforcer?
That
a G-Forcer?
Sounds horrible.
Okay.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds
like
terrible.
a name of a terrible porn spoof.
Yes, it does. G-Forcer.
Let's see. I don't know.
Because the G-spot.
I'm not saying we have to come up with it now. I'm just saying it is a thing that needs to happen.
Well, anyways, like to get this back on track was that the reason why we brought up the Star Trek movies was because of the two writers, Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman. They were working on the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy series.
Trilogy.
Yeah, trilogy. Soon to be trilogy, but we're not even sure at this point because now.
No, they're going beyond 3. I thought they said.
Yeah, but now.
Roberto they did. I just heard of I just heard of the proposed trilogy, and that was it.
I'm glad they are, because I really don't want this new one to just fucking fit everything into a nice little box.
Right. And so now we have one of the writers, Roberto Orci, leaving the Spider-Man project, and so now we're left with the Amazing Spider-Man.
I am more than okay with that.
Literally, I was so... The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I have so mixed feelings for it. I mean, I enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man I liked the first one, and hell, there was stuff in the second one I liked.
Right.
But I just really started realizing that this movie is a fucking train wreck.
It's so charming, though, in its first hour.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. That first hour was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just it does. I agree. I think it completely falls apart, and I think it's all based on the villain plots.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to juggle so many different villain plots at once, and tries to trick you into thinking they're more complex than they really are. And that's been my whole problem with the series overall. I really like the first movie. I think it's a very well-made alternate version of the origin. I just think that in an effort to compete with both the X-Men films and the Avengers films, they try to overcomplicate the universe into a way that's just not Spider-Man.
Yeah, and as much as I hate to say it, I think Spider-Man 2 from the original trilogy is the best Spider-Man movie I've seen. To be honest,
right.
For me, it's that one. I loved Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, as do I. The first Amazing movie, I think, are the two best.
The first Amazing movie is really good. That was a great way to do it. But granted, I was also sitting there when I was watching the movie. I'm like, I'm not a big superhero fan, so of course I'm going to be biased against it. So when I left the theater, I'm like, I was going to do a review for it, but I said no, because one, I don't know enough about the universe, and two...
But you don't have to know enough about the universe just to analyze the movie as itself.
The problem with me is I like to know if it's a franchise. I like to know what's behind the franchise so I can compare it to other things, or I can do stuff. Because I mean, that's a flaw. That is a flaw. It's just because, and that's why I haven't done a lot of reviews that I said that I'd like to do, is because I don't know the universe enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way about. That's why I never did reviews.
Because what if I say something wrong? That's why I never reviewed like the Dark Knight trilogy. Really, that's why I never really reviewed any of Batman TAS or stuff like that, or any Batman really, other than The Dark Knight Rises, is because I feel like I don't know enough about the universe still.
That's how I felt about X-Men: Days of Future Past. I was gonna do a review, and here's the thing: I went into X-Men: Days of Future Past hearing nothing. Oh, and I originally didn't want to see it because I'm not an X-Men person at all. I like the first two. I like the first two. I haven't seen First Class, but I've heard good things. And I heard that I kept hearing like things about Days of Future Past, like, oh, it is the best movie of the summer. It's amazing. And I saw it, and I was like, I like this. I think it's very strong, but I didn't have that passionate, fiery reaction to it. Because I'm not an X-Men guy. But here's my point of comparison. The way people were talking about X-Men is how I felt about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
This is true. This is undeniably
I think
true.
that's the point of comparison, is because I'm a big Apes fan. And big X-Men fans are like, oh my god, this movie, like, it's so extremely smart in the way it handles the universe. And that's how I felt about Dawn. It's also the way I felt about Godzilla.
I still feel that way about Godzilla. I know a lot of people are like, about Godzilla now, but I still fucking love that movie to shit.
I still really love the. I think it's awesome. But I don't think we really have to say that any more than we have on this show.
Considering the fact that you guys talked about that in Pacific Rim on the fucking... And I was like, shocker, they're talking about Pacific Rim. And then I heard...
We did two videos where we talked about like 45 minutes on Godzilla versus Pacific Rim. And...
I have to say, intelligent conversation, you guys, because there was stuff that you guys brought up that I never even thought of.
Thank you.
And I was like, oh, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah.
I was worried about that, though, because I wanted those two podcasts to be special, and I was like, we really just talked about everything we usually talk about. But I guess that's kind of indicative of what we were trying to do.
Well, I guess the main difference is that we were in person, we were able to have a much better, more cohesive conversation.
Like, I seriously can't wait to meet all of you guys in person. Like, seriously, when I met Bill for that short period of time, just for that one day,
yeah,
I was like, dude.
Yeah, I mean... I mean, now there's only one SOS member I haven't met in person, and I'm giving him the death glare right now. If he's even still there.
I'm here.
Okay, he's still alive.
David, when the fuck are we going to go to a strip club together, dude? You're the only member of this crew I can see that happening with.
Bill.
Yeah, you're most certainly not getting me into a normal strip club, Bill.
The day you and me meet will be the day when the world stops.
Right?
Oh, you know what that reminded me of? When we were kids up at school, there was a joke because this was when the Day the Earth Stood Still remake came out.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, "Oh, the Day the Earth Stood Still. That was terrible, but I love the original." But anyways, and of course, I was the only one that's seen the original at the time.
Uh-huh.
And so suddenly somebody said, "The Day the Earth Stopped Moving" or something. And then I laughed.
That's the Asylum Pictures version.
And then I laughed because I was like, the day the Earth stopped moving. And all of a sudden I just like moved the globe and it stopped moving, and I put my hands like they were people, and so they just was like, and we all started floating up into space. And that was it. That was the movie. Everything just floats up into space. Oh shit. The day the Earth stopped moving.
So yeah, that's the end.
But anyway, back to the story. I don't know. I'm hoping this will lead to a more well-constructed third movie.
Yeah, it was just the second movie made me realize, like, can Hollywood just take a step back, please?
I don't know. This summer, despite Amazing Spider-Man 2,
we had a lot of excellent movies this summer.
Well,
this was a pretty good
great summer.
We had a lot of Geek movies that came out this year, too.
Yeah, but I thought most of them... See, because last summer I thought was disappointing.
Awful. Other than Pacific.
But this one really stepped... Because Iron Man 3 and Man of Steel and...
Thor 2.
Thor 2. Well, Thor 2...
Well, it was decent, really, but didn't break any new ground.
This really has not been a bad year for movies so far.
Oh, not at all.
Everything I've seen I've pretty much liked.
Yeah.
I will definitely check out the Academy Awards this year.
The one movie I saw this year that didn't thrill me was the RoboCop remake.
Yeah.
But even that was not as terrible as it could have been. That could have been.
Bad. I will never review the RoboCop movie, the new one, because I completely went into the movie and I felt really bad. I completely went into the movie saying this isn't going to be as good as the original. This isn't going to be the original. This will never.
Did you watch the original beforehand?
Of course.
Oh, that was a mistake. Complete mistake.
I love the original, and I left the theater, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to view this picture now without thinking of the original. And I made
sure I didn't rewatch the original before I saw the new one, and thank God I didn't, because the new one is not a terrible movie at all. I think it
really isn't. When I look at it,
it's just good. It's competent. It does what it does. It's
fine as its own thing. I just when I reviewed it with Ian and Deadpoolzilla, the thing I said about it was, it feels like the original movie was based on a short story, and that this movie is based on the short story and not based on the original. And that's not true, it's not, but it feels like there's another piece of source material that this is based on, and it only makes light references to the first, almost like The Thing. Where
that's what that's what I kind of gathered from it. I was like, I'm loving the references.
Movie, yeah, the references are all great, but it feels like, you know how like the original movie is based on that short story, and then the John Carpenter movie is based on that short story. They're both telling different parts of the same story.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. Because what the new one does well is I think it's a really good version of the origin. They do the origin very well. They do a different thing with it, but it does it well.
Yeah, I agree.
But everything else is just, the villain story is a mess. Because there really isn't a villain.
Right.
And the villain they try to everything aside from the origin is just so forced.
I say the best reboot to RoboCop I've seen is definitely when Todd in the Shadows played played RoboCop in To Boldly Flee.
No, man. Obviously, the greatest version of RoboCop is RoboCop Alpha Commandos.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
RoboCop, da da da, RoboCop.
Horrible.
The first. Why?
Paul Verhoeven.
every time I think of the old RoboCop movie, I always think that David Cronenberg directed it. And
it is I want to see Cronenberg's RoboCop now. No, that was Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven? No, he's not German. He's
Cronenberg?
What is
Poland?
he?
I don't know. Jewish? I don't know.
He's Polish.
I don't care what people say. I love Cronenberg.
No one say anything about Cronenberg.
I love him too.
Cronenberg's my favorite indie director because he refused to really work. Even on The Fly, he refused to work with Hollywood very much.
Yeah, I love the first Fly movie.
Do you know that he hated that movie because when it was like John Carpenter in The Thing. People hated The Thing when it first came out. People hated The Fly when it first came out. And he felt John Carpenter said, my biggest mistake in my career was making The Fly. I was making The Thing and not. And the thing that made me appreciate that comment was he said because I let the people down. I let my fans down.
Which is weird because that's one of the biggest things he's known for now.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that just completely exploded later.
It's a cult classic.
It's kind of like I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane was panned when it first came out.
Most of the most famous movies ever made didn't explode in their first theater run.
Like Highlander.
Pacific Rim.
Hell, Pacific. No, because.
Well, I'm talking about America.
I wouldn't put Pacific Rim on that list. No.
Well, it hasn't been long enough. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. However, I will say that the film was much more successful being released on DVD and Blu-ray here in the States than it was theatrically. It's kind of like Gettysburg, the movie Gettysburg, my second favorite movie of all time. It was technically a flop in the theaters, but as soon as it was released on home video, it easily made its money back. It like quadrupled the money spent on it back. Kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get back to the story, here's my question: if he's leaving Spider-Man,
right, and where he's leaving to, I'll be getting to that in the next story.
Ooh.
Okay, but here's my question though.
Land of the Lost reboot.
If that's true, I'm gonna kill myself.
I'm gonna cut my wrist and let myself bleed out.
I'm a big Land of the Lost fan. Can't we just leave that franchise alone, please? I'm a big Land of the Lost fan. Anyway.
Well, you know what? You, Bill, can suck it.
Why?
No, that was supposed to be a lame reference to that adaptation.
Oh, that's right. I like parts of the Will Ferrell movie. But overall, it's a complete disaster.
It's a complete fucking disaster.
I like the casting of Will Ferrell, because I like Will Ferrell as an actor. But I just think that the movie, it tries too much to be a modern comedy, and you don't need to be a modern comedy to make Land of the Lost funny. It should have played itself completely straight, and let the humor just come naturally from the goofiness of the situation. But anyway, to get off that, to go back to Star Trek, what's going on with Star Trek 3? Since it seems like Abrams is done with that now.
I kind of hope Abrams steps back from it because I want to see new people. I want to see. I want to see Trekkies come back. I want to see Trekkies take the reign again and see what they.
Well, what's going on with it though? Is it even happening? I mean, I'm assuming
it is happening.
Well,
it's happening.
I know,
but it's moving at a snail's pace.
I know there's a new team of writers that are working on Star Trek 3 who are also working on this new story that I'm going to have coming right up.
But are the same writers coming back for Star Trek 3?
Let me check right now.
I kind of hope not, because I want something new.
I just want something that's closer to the fucking show.
Well, Bob Orci might come back.
Well, here's the thing about those two guys. They seem to be very reliant on their director for how their writing is done.
Here we go. Roberto Orci is still attached to to script the new Star Trek film, but Alex Kurtzman will no longer be on board because, of the whole, they split up as a team, Alex and Bob. Did one
of them cheat on the other one?
Possibly.
Were they gay?
No, I don't know anything about their personal lives. I just assume these are just two guys who just work on a shit ton of movies together.
But what's the next story? Let's just get into it.
All right.
Because I want to know.
Okay, so I mentioned that Roberto Orci is left the Spider-Man project, and he's now the
reboot to Watership Down.
He's now an executive producer on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Fuck.
Oh! And
no, I think he'd be good for that.
And he has the two writers that I just previously mentioned, Ashley Miller and Zach Stens, are on board to write the film. And
they worked on First Class, right?
Yeah, they both worked on
that. Is a great move. Now, based on what I've heard,
I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly, yes. And they also worked on Fringe and Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
That's perfect. Two things I enjoy.
Dude,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Dude, Adam, you liked Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man itself is a goofy concept that, when taken seriously, but still keeping roots to its wacky, what do you call it? Wacky roots.
I'm going to be honest. The only reason why I went to those movies is because a certain significant other dragged me to it.
But you still enjoyed them.
Let's get away from that. Let's get away from that. So,
but it's Power Rangers.
Exactly. Look at Avengers.
How are you going to make an X-Men style reboot?
But it's fucking the Avengers, man. I always point to the Avengers as how you can do something where it's not completely wacky, yet it still takes itself just seriously.
Well, you play it straight.
Yeah.
Here's how you do a modern Power Rangers. You need to play the thing completely straight.
Right. I mean, Sentai. The Sentais always took themselves straight for a majority of
but it's not even that. But you also need to keep a sense of humor about it in order to make sure that you're keeping the audience engaged in the universe. But here's the big thing that Power Rangers lacks as a show. It lacks story development, and it lacks character. It lacks a personality, I think, in terms of its people. And if you just give those characters personality, and you know what, Andres, you know what's a better point of comparison than the Avengers, though that is also good?
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
as a franchise overall. Just do it like Turtles.
Yeah, the first two Ninja Turtle movies. Yeah.
Absolutely. They took Ninja Turtles and they put them in a dark and gritty world, but they retained the sense of humor. I think and they played it straight. They did the Shredder straight. Also, the Shredder in the first Ninja Turtles movie, I think, is a perfect point of inspiration for a dark version of Lord Zed.
Ooh, yes.
It's funny to bring up Ninja Turtles because when that script where the turtles were interdimensional aliens, when it got leaked, when me and Dylan read it, we both agreed that it had like this Power Rangers essence to it more than Ninja Turtles.
Huh.
Yeah. I think a big budget, or at least a mid budget. I don't give the Power Rangers like an Avengers level budget because I don't think they need it. But because then I think
at Avengers, the budget for Avengers, that was fucking pennies compared to Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Well, I don't know. I think it was like Amazing Spider-Man 2 was like around like 325.
Jesus.
$325 million.
Oh, are you fucking
That was
kidding
more
me?
expensive than the Hobbit movies.
And the.
Let that sink in, audience.
And Pacific Rim.
No, that's no shocker that it's more expensive than Pacific Rim. Let that sink in that it was more expensive than the Hobbit movies.
Jesus Christ, man.
Well, that explains why it's in limbo now.
Yeah. Especially when it made it made $700 million worldwide, but
it definitely made its money back. Like, God,
it didn't make. Yeah, like they had way too high expectations for Spider-Man.
Wait. Well, hang on. Well, that is definitely overly excessive, but when you look at
$20 million.
I agree. It's fucking insane. But when you think about what the first three made,
money, $100 million of that.
Imagine how many Roger Corman movies you could have made, or how many movies Roger Corman could have made.
I know.
Yeah.
Starring Conan O'Brien.
Oh yes, I can't he's
wait.
going to be in the new Sharktopus movie, right?
Before we go, I want to talk about Sharknado 2 because I want to do a live event.
Right, but we can say that for last.
Hang on, let's save that for the announcement.
Okay, so yeah, for back onto Power Rangers, you said...
I think this is a good move. I'm excited for this now.
I like that they're I do like... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm just going to say this because we talked about this on the show. It sounds like the Michael Bay thing is not true.
Right.
I called it.
Michael Bay isn't working on that. He's working on the live-action adaptation of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Nah, which is also a rumor.
Also bullshit.
No, Andres.
Well, thank God both of those things. So now my faith in the Power Rangers reboot has been restored. I think this could be fun now. And that's all I need from it. Just make it fun, man. Don't take it too seriously. Just be fun.
Right. And it looks like that's exactly what they will, with looking at the movies that Roberto Orci has been attached to in the past. It seems like that's the kind of thing that he's generally been known for. He doesn't do any like really serious Dark Knight level stuff, but he usually does the kind of stuff that's like some big summer blockbuster.
I just need something that's fun, but where the universe is well thought out.
Hopefully, yeah. And the fact that they're actually getting experienced writers who know how to do fun characters, yet also have smart dialogue. Not smart dialogue, but smart dialogue and just competent overall, just shows that they're actually treating this franchise with respect and seriousness, and not just give it the old DBZ de-evolution treatment.
Where they're like, let's try and turn it into like the Lord of the Rings.
By going the most generic route.
Can I say something about the Power Rangers movie now that we bring up DBZ evolution?
Most definitely.
What? I personally feel like even if the movie falls onto the category of like the level of quality that Evolution or even the last Airbender have fallen into, I still think the movie wouldn't ruin the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers franchise or anything.
No.
Let me say this. As a fan, I prefer Super Sentai over Power Rangers. And let me just say that I think Power Rangers was ruined when Saban got it in 1993 as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Because here's the thing why I prefer Kamen Rider or even Super Sentai over the American versions of their counterparts. Because unlike Kamen Rider, Power Rangers has not, made that step forward into, like, maturing. Like how Kamen Rider did with Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Okay, the American versions of Kamen Rider, they had, Masked Rider. Bill, I think you're familiar with Masked Rider because
they had the crossover with Power.
Yeah, they had the crossover,
right.
and it was produced by Saban. Saban's Masked Rider, right? Saban's Masked Rider is really no different from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The thing that made Masked Rider fail was because it just didn't kick off as good as it did with Power Rangers because it was basically the same formula. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Well, I guess
same thing with Beetleborgs and VR Troopers.
Yeah, but Big Bad Beetleborgs was able to make it last a bit longer only because they had some more stock footage from another show to work off of.
There's a show that needs a dark and gritty reboot. The Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah, that's where my whole defense comes in about this movie. Any level of quality it falls into, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was when the first Power Ranger show came out because, like I said, Saban hasn't really, made that first step into maturing the show. It's still stuck. I think it's still stuck in that generational thing where, like, it's still a 90s thing, and it's still like
it's still a kids thing. You can't.
Yeah.
People our age can't really enjoy Power Rangers unironically. You know what I mean?
Right,
yes,
right.
Because
you have to accept
I watched Power Rangers recently. I tried to get back into it, not in preparations for this, but just like for the fuck of it. And
the new show?
No, the original.
Okay.
No, I even watched Megaforce, like the first 2 episodes. And here's the thing that just like threw me off. This is why I think that Power Rangers just hasn't matured or made that step forward into becoming something more than just a kids show. I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 93 back to back with Megaforce, and it's the same damn thing. The only difference is that it's now set in a modern day. It's now set in the present.
Yeah. I mean, they just keep regurgitating the same formula over and over again. And here's what it allows it to do. Every single generation of kids grows up with their own version of Power Rangers, and there's no difference between that and the previous generation. For instance, the Power Rangers show that was on when I got into it was SPD.
Uh-huh.
And I had seen all the previous incarnations before that, but I wasn't a fan. I didn't really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I grew up and I got into the age group I am now, the kids grew up with stuff like Jungle Fury, and now it's Megaforce and Samurai, and they're all watching the same show, so it allows them to experience the same thing the previous generation experienced. But here's what I think this new movie will allow to happen: we'll be able to enjoy a more mature and more well thought out version of Power Rangers that we want as fans, while those kids will still get what we grew up with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They'll get the same. They'll get that.
Well, here's the thing I'm hoping for the Power Rangers movie, and this is what I would do if I ever, tackled on a Power Rangers movie. What I would do, and this is what I'm hoping that the filmmakers attached to the movie will do, is that they'll make it in the spirit of Super Sentai, because
they should look to that, yeah.
Because Super Sentai, the original Japanese Power Rangers, it began that way as a kid-friendly show, but over the years it matured. Nowadays, the Super Sentai shows out there now, they're silly, but they have characters and some level of progression. They have like this live-action anime flavor, which I really, really love when it comes to like shows like that. But you look at Power Rangers, the American versions, like Megaforce, and there's really like no difference between what they've done now and back then. And
you know what it reminds me of?
What?
It's like a sitcom with action scenes.
Yeah,
it's basically what Power Rangers is.
That's what I've always felt like. What Power Rangers is that it's purely spectacle. That's it. Because
it's a formulaic, brain dead thing with action scenes, and it doesn't have to be. I think the closest it got to what you're describing, Dave, is in space.
Yeah, and I will say Time Force as well.
Time Force also, and Dino Thunder, depending on the episode.
Maybe Lightspeed Rescue as well.
No.
All right. It's been a while since I've seen Lightspeed.
I think Lost Galaxy also got pretty close.
Yeah.
But even then, it falters. It goes back to that Lost Galaxy is the first thing to show on-screen child death, so that's something. Let me just say this, speaking of Lightspeed Rescue. My first episode of Lightspeed Rescue I saw was where they introduced the Titanium Ranger. And I remember the first thing that struck me about Lightspeed Rescue was that was the first time I saw Power Rangers where a real person got shot. Like, the Titanium Ranger's walking down the street, sees a lady, and just fucking blasts her with his blaster, and she goes fucking flying. And sparks fly at her, which is the first time where it's like, okay, the sparks thing is literally just so they don't have to show blood.
Yeah.
But the first Power Rangers thing to show blood, I think, is Wild Force, isn't it?
Sorry, can't remember.
There's a scene in Wild Force where they show Cole get in a fight with Master Org, and they show him have blood on him, so... It had balls then. But anyway, I think this is a good move, and I have. Well, here's the other thing. I think it's going to be real hard for them to fuck Power Rangers up. I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. That no matter how.
Well, what could they do? They can't ruin Power Rangers. You can't. It's not like you could ruin Godzilla or you could ruin any of the Marvel or DC franchises. You just can't. It's been at the lowest place it could possibly be with the series themselves.
Right.
So what could you possibly do to insult Power Rangers fans? The only thing you could do is almost, if you go too far in the mature direction, have it be a bunch of sex jokes and fucking arms getting chopped off. You know what I mean?
Since we're talking about Power Rangers, there's this fan film out there called
MMPR?
MMPR, yeah. I always forget. Yeah. It's just that is how I want to see Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And I really hail the people who are behind MMPR, because that's basically like that same step forward that Toei did when they allowed America to do a second American Kamen Rider, because that is the level of maturity that I think the franchise, or the American version of the franchise, needs to step into. It has It has to grow up. That's what I'm trying to say. It has to grow up. And it seems for like the past 20 or 25 years, it hasn't done that. I mean, there was this moment, I don't remember, Bill or Anders, you guys can tell me, but there was this one point where Disney owned Power Rangers, and they actually produced a few actual worthy shows where there's actual progression with the characters and the story.
SPD is pretty good.
Yeah. And I heard...
I think it was from, Andres, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's from the end of Wild Force up until... RPM.
RPM, yeah. And I heard RPM. Yeah, I heard RPM was like really good. Like
I heard RPM was great.
Yeah, I heard it was like a great, not just for Power Rangers standards, but by just good television. Yeah.
Like, yeah, good kids television.
But
here's the thing about RPM. RPM did what we're describing. It took itself seriously, but also had a sense of humor. There's a scene where, when they get the morphers, where they're told how to activate them, and they're like, that's ridiculous. But they explain why it is that way, and they just do it. Keeping the sense of humor, but they just do the morphing sequence, and they're like, whatever, we have to do it. So, that's what they need to do in order to make this reboot work, and do it in a way where Power Rangers can move on to the next step. Because, Dave, I agree with you. It didn't much. Here's the problem that's on the opposite side, the other side of the double-edged sword I mentioned, where the kids get to grow up with it. Each generation gets the same version, but also the kids who want to keep enjoying Power Rangers can't, because it refuses to grow up with them. They outgrow it, and I think that this new reboot will allow people our age, or also younger, to mature, for Power Rangers to mature with them.
Right. And it's not like,
I think that's a thing.
And it's not like we're asking for a Power Rangers that's for us, only for our age. No, because it's kind of like something like, say, the Justice, like the DC animated universe television shows,
like the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah, there's so much potential to make a series where you're able to have it appeal to all ages.
Yeah,
rather than just one extreme, be it year old.
That's all we're asking for, is an all ages Power Rangers movie, something that the whole family can enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way to do it. That's I think is the way you bring Power Rangers into the next generation.
Definitely. And I guess the one reservation I have is when it comes to when it comes to this news that I have, is that with Roberto Orci, I explained a little bit earlier before that I always felt like Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman were kind of like an example of Hollywood yes men, where they do a competent job, but they normally just follow whatever rules that the studio heads tell them to do, which is why I have a feeling that these are the writers who are capable of producing decent stuff like the Star Trek movies, yet bring out such awful writing from something like the Transformers movies, or all the sequel baiting from The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Here's my other issue with them as writers. They tend to do a decent job of telling the story they want to tell in that 2-hour format, but the universes tend to not be well thought out. There are parts of, like, so the whole time travel method of rebooting Star Trek, not a terrible idea, but then you get into problems where you get into their version of Khan in the second movie, and it's a completely rebooted concept, even though it shouldn't be. So I think that's an example of their universes not being well thought out.
Right, or if you think
and that's the one thing I want from this Power Rangers reboot, is for the universe to be well thought out. Give us a well thought out, developed version of that continuity, and I think that's how you do it.
And I also remember, if you remember from Star Trek Into Darkness, there's at the very end. Should I spoil the end? Am I allowed to spoil the end of the movie?
It's been out for a year.
Okay. Well,
has anybody not run out to the theaters yet to see Star Trek Into Darkness? If you haven't seen it and you don't want it spoiled, whatever, it's tough shit.
Well, this is something that I recently noticed with the ending of Star Trek Into Darkness, where Kirk, he died, and they pretty much go after Khan. They capture him and use his blood to bring Kirk back to life. So they essentially found a cure for death itself. And I feel like it's one of those little hiccups in writing that you could easily make in something like Power Rangers, where it's like, here's this plot element that completely changed the rules, not unknowingly, but can by accident change the rules of the whole universe, or makes you think,
but here's
why
the difference,
couldn't they do that from before?
Well, you know what?
Star Trek, I don't think that's a much bigger problem, though, because Star Trek has this pedigree of not doing things like that, or doing things like that well. Power Rangers doesn't really have that. So let's say the new Power Rangers movie had an ending like that, where they brought in that big Deus Ex Machina that makes no sense.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Megazord, perhaps.
But it's like, it wouldn't be as big of a problem, though, because so what? What is the comparison to? Destroying Zordon's the most clever thing I think Power Rangers ever did in terms of giving its universe some credibility was having this balance of good and evil, creating the morphing grid.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the conclusion of that, by blowing up Zordon's energy tube and all the evil in the universe turning good, it's a big deus ex machina, but you buy it because the universe is set up in a way where that's fine. It's that black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't think a move like that would really be as noticeable in a Power Rangers movie as it would be in a Star Trek movie.
Mm.
Well,
okay.
Here's the thing. Since we're talking about Star Trek, I just want to say, just to kind of go back, not everything with... I'm not saying that, how much I complain about the two new Star Trek movies. I'm not saying all of the old shit is golden either.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
I'm not saying that either. Like, fucking Threshold from Star Trek Voyager's awful. Awful. Hell, most of Star Trek Voyager is awful. But, hell, even Star Trek Enterprise is awful. But, it just... You're right, Bill. It doesn't feel like Star Trek. And, the whole thing with Khan's blood... That wasn't why Khan was even created. So they even fucked up the continuity there. The only thing that Khan is just he's genetically altered, and not even like that. He's just a normal human being. This is what happens when you take all those human traits that make us really strong, muscular, and intelligent, breed them in a certain way, and that's what Khan is. Khan is just a product of eugenics, nothing else. Because what Khan came out of, and it's hinted at in Star Trek Into Darkness, is something called the Eugenics Wars.
Yeah, they don't call it that, which pissed me off.
Yeah, because it's clear. You should read, Bill, I don't know if you ever will, or at least listen to him on audiobook, but the Khan, there's a trilogy where it's nothing but Khan.
Yeah.
Eugenics Wars, and they're so good.
I do want to experience that, because that's one of my favorite parts of the Star Trek universe is the Eugenics Wars.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean...
We won't really have to worry about that type of a continuity issue with Power Rangers, because...
No, because
that was Damien Lindelof's fault for putting in the whole blood things, cheating death.
But, doesn't that sound like a Power Rangers concept? As though we took this guy's blood and we cured death.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible that it will not happen. I mean, there's a likely chance it might happen.
Right.
But
yeah, I got you.
I understand what you're saying. I'm also saying the whole Khan blood thing was inserted by Damien Lindelof after Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orci wrote it. So that wasn't exactly their idea. And they're the ones being blamed for it.
The cheating of death thing that you guys are talking about, there's a book series that I love. It's one of my favorite book series of all time, and I'd love to make them into movies. It's called Ringworld. And
I heard of this. What is this?
It's basically about these people that are exploring an artificial planet.
I remember you talking to me about this.
It's a really clever book, very intelligently written, and very entertaining. Unfortunately, it has some of the worst written sex scenes I've ever read, but it's just... But the rest of it's really good. Let's just say that David Niven's really good at writing plot, not so much good at writing
sex.
Writing sex. However,
he never got laid.
The main character Louis, how they cure death is hilarious, and he knows it's ridiculous, so he runs with it. Is that all they do is once the body is dead, once your body has succeeded its limit, they take your brain out and put it. They basically do what Dr. Frankenstein did, and put it into another body, a younger body. So Louis is actually 300 years old at the beginning of that book.
Right.
But he's in a body of, I think in that point he's 40 years old, I think, in that book. His body is 40 years old, but he's got 300 years worth of knowledge because of his brain.
Right.
And I think that's clever. That's a clever thing to kind of go with, because the writer has specifically said, oh yeah, I know it's ridiculous, but that's why I wrote it. It's ridiculous, and I'm going to run with it.
Right.
And, you know, if they're going to do something like that with like, Power Rangers or something like that, that's the way to do it.
That makes sense.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it and run with it. Take it. I mean, they're making a new zombie game called the Zombie Research Organization, and it looks hilarious because they're taking what the zombie apocalypse is and they're not going the stereotypical route, making it really depressing. They're saying, no, fuck that shit. We're basically going to do a Shaun of the Dead Zombieland style thing where it's just ridiculous, and we're just going to run with it.
Yeah, I think that's how you do Power Rangers. Just take that ridiculous concept and just run with it.
Well, here's
just
the
have
thing.
Fun with it.
I wanted to say this earlier, and it hasn't occurred to me until like earlier because I was so in deep with my rant. And I don't think that people are assuming that this is going to be a film translation of the first show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which I don't believe it actually might be. I think it's going to be like a plain reboot, just like they did with Godzilla, where at first, when we heard the news that Legendary was doing a Godzilla movie, we automatically thought it was going to be like either a remake of 54 or a film that's in line with 54. And that's, I think, what fans are assuming, that it's going to be just an adaptation.
Oh, you're saying that you don't think, because we all thought that Godzilla was going to go back to its original dark, destructive roots, and it kind of did that, but not in the way we thought.
Right.
But you're saying that it's going to be more of, well, the thing about Godzilla is it does, in a way, go back to that, but it kind of picks what it wants from different parts of Godzilla's history and uses that to make its own version of the character.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what they'll do with Power Rangers. You're right.
It's a complete total reboot where, you know, the original Power Rangers are not established. It's basically setting up its own universe. That's what I think is going to happen, because that Power Rangers is that type of franchise that you can get away with. They actually been doing that, you know, constantly.
Each series might as well be a fucking reboot.
Yeah, basically.
I think that's the way. So I also wouldn't be against the, like, I think everybody's assuming, oh, they'll recast the original characters. I don't know about that. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I do think, though, that their best move would be to use the original looks of the Rangers as a starting off point, because those are the most iconic, and those are the versions that everybody knows. So fuck the characters behind the helmets. At least use those helmets and those suits, though, as a starting off point, and do the whole dinosaur thing.
And would it be interesting if somehow they end up doing wouldn't it be so interesting if they just decide to go with the original premise of Z or Jew Ranger?
And make them No, I don't need that.
If I could capture one of these babies alive.
Well, you know what?
Sorry, I just saw.
Oh no, you just reminded me of that.
I just watched the original King Kong on the big screen for the first time, and
nice.
It was beautiful. And I'm sorry, I've been thinking of King Kong like nonstop ever since.
You just reminded me. You guys both. You and David just combined and made a reference for him in my mind. So we're talking about they don't need to be the original characters behind the helmets. Mm-hmm. So imagine like somebody's like,
Master Chief.
when we make the Power Rangers reboot, we need to make them the original characters, and then just have that scene from Jurassic Park where it goes, Dotson, we got Dotson here. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
That's like my favorite scene from that movie
So
overall.
we're gonna put Zach and make him the Black Ranger again. Zach, we got Zach here. See, nobody cares. The only one people care about is Tommy and Jason. That's it. As long as Jason is the Red Ranger and Tommy is the Green Ranger, that's all people will remember and all they'll care about. Everybody else, it's like, who fucking cares?
You know what always I found a little funny about that scene is that they're giving him a can of shaving cream that has that stuff in it, the vials in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the embryos.
And then he puts it on top of his pie.
Yeah.
Did he eat the shaving cream?
No, he just did it just to be a dick.
Just to be a dick.
No, he didn't do it to his pie, it was somebody else's pie.
Yeah.
Somebody ate that shit and probably died.
And I was like, I didn't notice it until this last viewing, and I was like, oh, what a dick.
What an asshole.
Newman.
An asshole. It's fucking Jerry Seinfeld's pie. Newman.
He takes a bite and then he says that.
Newman.
My pie is in your hands and you have butterfingers? Oh my god, that's one of my favorite, because all we were doing the whole trip was quoting Jurassic Park. Unintentionally, by the way.
Right.
And my favorite time we did it was when I was driving, and I didn't feel good, and Dylan goes, Bill, our lives are in your hands, and you have butterfingers? I died at that. That and when Dylan was like, Bill, I can write all kinds of numbers in this check. What do you need? And I'm like, that's a fucking Jurassic Park.
We spared no expense.
Spared no expense. That and every time we said something crazy, it was like, that's chaos. That's
chaos theory. And you actually, and Bill actually did walk out of the car. You see, nobody would have predicted that. And now he's...
Oh, God, I loved that.
Now he's throwing up. I think that's chaos theory.
I loved that. I especially love that I learned about that afterwards. We're really far in Sandre's...
Did you guys record Bill throwing up?
No.
No, they wanted to, but I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's disgusting. It was.
You know what I'm gonna do when I go there? I'm just gonna document all of this on my iPhone.
We need to. Everybody just needs to film it, and we'll compile it into one big thing afterwards. Yeah. I can't wait though to have the whole SOS.
We could sell it. We could sell it on DVD.
And sell it as like
package it, slap it on a plastic lunchbox, and sell it. We're gonna sell it.
Toys, lots of toys.
We're gonna turn into a found footage franchise.
We wound up dying halfway through it, and it's nothing but it's a found footage.
It ends with Dylan in the corner staring at the wall.
Oh my God! Yes.
You damn right! I just made a Blair Witch Project. Damn right.
I love
Andre, we're really far in, so why don't you wrap it up?
Okay, well, the last story I had was basically all the changes that Marvel announced for their characters, like such as the Falcon.
This is bizarre.
Yeah, such as the Falcon. He's now the new Captain America.
Did they kill him again? Because didn't they just do that like 2 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he just...
He died like not that long. Right before the movie came out. They killed off Captain America.
Right, and then Bucky Barnes became Captain America.
Yeah, Bucky was Captain and had an awesome costume.
Yeah.
So are they killing him again, or is he just becoming something else?
No, what are you guys talking about? Stephen Colbert is the new Captain America.
That was awesome. We lost David. I don't know why.
Yeah. And then they announced that Thor is now a female. But then the original Thor is still around.
Killed him recently, too.
But the original Thor, the male Thor, is still around, except he carries an axe now, while female Thor is now wields the hammer. I was like, I forgot who I asked. I think I asked it was David who told me. It was like, is this like a Doctor Who regeneration thing? It's like,
I'll take an axe over a hammer any day.
Well, what I've been hearing is that, the whole premise of Thor is that Thor may be the dude's name, but the whole...
Thor has officially become a Disney princess.
Right.
Yes. Well, the whole idea is that the whole thing with the hammer is whoever wields this hammer wields the power of Thor. So I'm assuming the hammer has just been passed on.
Possibly.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, I don't care anyway.
I heard that maybe Thor... I heard that Thor perhaps lost his power.
David, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
I heard that perhaps...
We're talking about Lady Thor now.
I heard that perhaps Thor lost his power because he held that axe, which was apparently evil or something.
Are we talking about Marvel changing Thor to a woman?
Yeah, and the Captain America and the superior Iron Man.
Who's Iron Man now? Is it Rhodey?
It's still Tony Stark, but now he's back to being an evil dick again.
Why?
I don't know, because... Hey, Superior Spider-Man works.
Is Marvel going through a New 52 thing?
No, they kind of did that with Marvel Now.
But Marvel Now is still...
They do this a lot, though, Adam, because the thing about the difference between DC and Marvel is Marvel refuses to reboot their continuity.
Which they just some serious problems.
well, what they tend to do is they just tend to kind of like either ignore things or give them explanations.
They do a Star Trek. And
they absolutely do that. Because they refuse to reboot, they like to do new versions every now and then to keep things fresh. So they did it with Superior. They did it with Spider-Man recently. They did it with Spider-Man recently by putting Doc Ock in Peter's body and like making him Spider-Man. and now they're doing it with these other characters. Is Hulk still Bruce? Hulk is a quagmire because Hulk, they don't give a fuck. They're like, new Hulk book, new rules. Now Bruce is inside the Hulk's mind because why not? Now Hulk and Bruce is separated. Who fucking cares? And which pisses me off because I'm a Hulk fan.
On that there's like basically a Young Justice version of, or in Marvel continuity or something.
Avengers Academy.
Yeah.
And then the X-Men has one too. I forget what they're called. Oh, the Runaways? No.
The New Mutants. They used to have
the first gay on that one. It was the very first ever openly gay couple. And Marvel did it.
The first openly gay character in comic book history came from Alpha Flight, where one of the characters in Alpha, which is a Canadian superhero team with characters like Sasquatch,
Captain
Sasquatch,
Canada?
a giant moose, and...
Well, no, there's a giant moose in Deadpool right now, who's technically a Canadian character.
Yeah,
but anyways, I know it's apparently like Hulkling, and...
Oh, yeah, X-23, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I did hear. I think it is the Runaways. Actually, I think it's the Runaways.
It broke ground because, or it was a big deal because on one of the issues, there's a scene where the two they kiss, and it exploded. Like everyone was like, yeah, or everyone was like, ew.
Yeah, I heard about this. This was a big deal.
Pick up the children.
Children. I abide by the Louis C.K. thing. Just talk to your kids for 5 minutes and deal with them, and who cares? Whatever the quote was. But DC had this a while ago. I mean, Batwoman has been a lesbian for fucking years.
And
so
wasn't she with the what's her name?
Renee Montoya.
Oh yeah, Renee Montoya. The Second Question. Yeah.
Yeah. That and Superman had it too. Superman. What's her name? The chick who was under Turpin. I forget her name. But she's been in fucking Death of Superman. She becomes the chief of police of Metropolis. And
oh yeah, her. Yeah. She had. I remember her character. They actually in the animated series they showed her with her partner, and even though they don't.
Yeah, they never say it explicitly, but it's implied.
Yeah, but Bruce Timm said, "Yeah, that's her partner right there in my show."
Yeah. Adam, really? Oh God.
We should have played this during the road trip.
I know, right? No, that would have been cry, dude. So who else is there? They're also So shit, what's his name? The guy who is Falcon. I know the actor. This is one of the few times where I know the actor's name and not the character's name. Is Alan Mackey. I love the way they did Falcon in Captain America 2.
Yeah,
so well done. I love that they did him as a war veteran suffering from PTSD.
Definitely.
That's really clever. Yeah.
Well, what was more clever about it was they paralleled it with Cap as being this guy out of touch with his culture. I thought that was really clever. Captain America 2 is such a good fucking movie.
Oh, definitely. Probably, yeah. It's like
such a good.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, both of them are, but they're both good for different reasons. First Avenger is my second.
My favorite line in the Avengers movie is when Captain America goes, "Huh, I get that reference."
Yeah.
When
I understood that reference.
When they make the Wizard of Oz reference, and he's like, "Huh, I understood that reference." And I was like, "Okay, that was good."
Scene earlier on where Tony goes, "That man is playing Galaga. Didn't think we noticed, but he did." And everybody's like, "What?" I love that joke.
Such a quotable movie.
Oh, Andres, I can't believe you didn't bring up the Avengers 2 set photos. Or not the set photos, the actual official photos.
Oh, yeah. I figured they weren't really that much. I mean, we see their new costumes, and they kind of look the same as before, though Iron Man still retains more of that yellow that he had from the...
Well, thank God they put more red in it than they did in Iron Man 3.
Right. I'm pretty sure that was just a one-off thing for that movie, given the circumstances of Tony Stark in the plot. And as for Captain America, I'm glad they added more red, white, and blue into it.
They mixed the two suits, which I'm glad about. They mixed the Avengers suit with the first movie suit, which I'm happy about.
Yeah. And let's see, Thor, he pretty much looks the same overall.
Thor looks the same.
Ultron looks.
I'm loving Bruce Banner rocking the lab coat.
Yeah, and Ultron looks like Ultron.
Oh, Ultron looks awesome.
Yeah, he's what you expect from Ultron.
Black Widow, they pretty much just changed her hair color, and that was about it. She has a different hairstyle every fucking movie.
Yeah. Didn't Hawkeye, they gave him something like some sort of some
Yeah,
skirt?
They gave him a fucking leotard or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Hawkeye.
Wait, I forgot. Did they add more purple to him? Or?
They made it look more. Okay, they made it look more like the comics. Well, here's the thing: if you're gonna make it look more like the comics, just give him the fucking mask because it looks stupid without.
Or at least give him those fancy shades that he had in the Ultimate comics.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind the costume in Avengers. I know a lot of fans were like, "Oh, give him the skirt," and they did it now. So we'll see.
Now they give him the skirt, but the skirt kind of looks weird without the mask.
I love what they're doing with Quicksilver. Because it's weird because we just had Quicksilver in Days of Future Past, and they did him really well.
Yeah, and now people are going to be after Godzilla. People are now have their eyes on Aaron Taylor Johnson to see, let's see what this guy can really do.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That's what I said.
Thank you very much. Oh, I thought you said Jensen.
No.
That's going to be interesting because I love the way they did him in Days of Future Past. Love the Pink Floyd shirt and the fucking Walkman. That was all great. Very Quicksilver.
And we were all ready to bash him, and then he was like, "Yeah, what now, motherfuckers?"
Now because we all thought Quicksilver in Avengers was going to be the superior version.
Right.
And now we'll see.
Yeah. And I'm still not a fan of what they did with his hair, where it's clearly brown, but they dyed it white, but you still see the roots under there. Not really a fan.
Yeah, but at least it doesn't look as... Well, remember those early set photos of Days of Future Past where he had, it looked like he was wearing a wig?
Yeah.
Didn't look like that in the movie, so now we'll see...
He looks like a founding father. He's wearing a powdered wig.
No, it looks like a fake, fucking disco wig, which I guess was fitting for the time period, but still.
Well, I still really like Scarlet Witch's quote-unquote costume, despite it...
I like her costume.
Yeah, I do, definitely.
It's a good blend. And they don't look like the final costumes, either. They look like, They look like street versions of those like the first Spider-Man costume in Amazing, where it was this vigilante version with the sunglasses and everything.
Yeah, I always refer to that as the hipster Spider-Man.
Hipster Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm excited.
Definitely, yeah.
I also love the premise of Tony Stark doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore, so he builds Ultron to replace him.
Yeah, I'm not kind of crazy on that. They took away this invention from Hank in the comics.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Because it made sense with Hank in the comics, because Hank was a pacifist, so it made sense for him to create this benevolent robot to do what he didn't want to do.
Right, and what they did in the animated series, Earth's Mightiest Hero, so good. Yeah, I wanted to see that, Why couldn't we have Ant-Man
I just thought it was bizarre that they were going to do Ultron before they did right before the Ant-Man movie is supposed to come out.
Right, it's weird.
What the fuck, Marvel?
Yeah.
Though God knows what's happening with the Ant-Man movie now.
Oh, definitely with all the ruckus going on with them having to change. Ruckus. Yes, I brought that word back. With everything changed from the director and yet still trying to reach its deadline and everything. Although from another news story that I had was that they still had a whole bunch of movies lined up from now until 2019.
Yeah, they've got some forethought.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of planning, and I've been hearing on Facebook. I've been seeing some people's reactions to Avengers, this whole Phase 2 thing, and while most of all of us have been pretty excited for Phase 2 and the future up ahead, I've seen some people already getting tired of the Marvel movies, with the exception of Captain America 2, and so...
Well, I think Cap 2 kind of started this new thing of now Marvel has to be a little bit more clever with their stories. I mean, not with their stories, but with what their stories are doing, because Cap 2... There was more going on in Captain America 2 than in, say, the Avengers. There's more to it than just a big, fun, save-the-world thing. Mm-hmm. And it looks like that might be what's going on in Avengers 2, and if they keep that up, I think that whole getting sick of it thing will go away.
Yeah, hopefully.
But they need to keep on advancing what their stories are doing if they want to.
Right.
To keep our attention. I'm glad that Guardians isn't doing that though, because Guardians doesn't need that.
Yeah.
At least seemingly, maybe it'll have more going on, and if so, that's great. But Guardians doesn't need to tell me anything about my life. I just want Guardians to be fucking.
Here's a bunch of
Ghostbusters in space. That's what I want from Guardians.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that movie. I can't wait.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's.
I just can't wait to get together with my friends, party before, and just go see Guardians, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And
looked on a feeling. Tired of believing. Anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard, not hard, but it's gonna be interesting to see how Marvel can still keep up this cinematic universe going. I mean, we're well past the point, that like honeymoon period where it's like everything's all fine and dandy. We're all getting used to seeing these characters, but now that we're past that point, it's gonna see how they're gonna continue these stories for the next 5 years.
Well, the interesting thing to me is more so, how are they going to keep this universe going, like the comic book universe, with these actors getting older, especially in the case of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's getting near to the end, which I totally understand. He's been doing it for
4 years? No.
6 years. 2008.
Okay, yeah.
So
wow.
I think he's getting close to the end. And Chris Evans, too, has said that Avengers 3 is going to be his last bout as Captain America.
And he says that after he's done playing Captain America, he wants to stop acting and actually get into directing.
Right. Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting. I mean, what I've heard Whedon say he wants to do is do what the comics do and just keep retooling the team. And just keep changing up the team until, until they get a new team. So I imagine Phase 4, if they get that far, will probably be Ant-Man, Wasp, Hulk, maybe.
Vision.
Vision. I've heard they're bringing Vision into the next movie, so that'll be cool. Avengers 3.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see when they're gonna. I know there have been strong rumors. Not strong rumors. It has been confirmed that they're going to be having Doctor Strange for Phase 3. But
I'm so waiting to that.
No, not that Doctor Strange.
God damn it!
But he's not an Avengers character, but they do want to have him, part of the universe.
Well, they mentioned him in Captain America too.
Yeah, and it's but then there's also Black Panther.
I want Black Panther bad.
I want to see when Ant-Man's going to turn into Giant Man or Yellow Jacket.
They'll probably do Yellow Jacket before they do Giant Man.
Yeah, I mean, Giant Man's just...
Yellow Jacket's a lot more interesting.
And Giant Man's just too generic of a name that you can't really market.
Well, Giant Man is just too generic of a superpower.
Yeah, but then... Well, I guess Ant-Man has more going on than just...
Ant-Man is more interesting because it's something that's been done a lot, but not done in a super heroic way.
Uh-huh. I mean, if it has been done, it's usually played up for laughs.
Well, it's more played as a disadvantage rather than an advantage.
Yeah.
So that's what I was interested in with the movie, was they had to turn it into a superpower, not a super disadvantage. But anyway.
So yeah, that is the I forgot what.
That's the Marvel corner.
That's the Marvel corner of the. What do I forgot? I always forget. What's the name that you gave this section of?
The General News Update with Andres Perez.
That is the general news. Yeah, just the geeky news.
It's more like the very specific geek news.
Well, that's just basically the news with Andres Perez.
Indeed. So with that being said, let's go into announcements, boys. I know we have quite a bit. So Adam, why don't you start off, since you wanted to get into something earlier anyway. Well, first things first. Let's discuss the thing that we pitched around on Skype a couple days ago, or not a couple days ago, like a week ago now. There is an SOS movie in the works.
Yes, there is a legit SOS movie in the works.
Being penned by Mr. Adam Noyce.
Hi. Which could go either one of two ways. It could either be really hilarious or really terrible.
I'm hoping for the former rather than the latter.
I don't know, man. I think I'm kind
of... As an actor in film.
All of that pointless and random religious symbolism, Jesus. No, but yeah, I'm actually writing a legit treatment. I kind of discussed this with Dylan, Andres, and Bill. They're all on board of it. I haven't told Dave about it yet, so this is kind of new to Dave.
He was like,
"Why the
what's
fuck
this SOS thing you're talking about?"
I feel left out, as always.
Well, you're never around, dude.
I know you're either working or...
Yeah, Dave, I will definitely... Dave, you are definitely going to be the person I send the treatment to first.
Oh, you best motherfucker. Please.
But yeah, it's going to be funny. It's
Sparkles
going to be funny.
On top.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be really funny.
Can I be responsible for Bill and Andres' dialogue? Someone else can write mine. Why not? Why you do this for Billy?
Because I'm afraid of the words you'll put in my mouth.
Right.
That's the whole point.
What you'll put in my mouth.
I don't know, Bill.
It's gonna be anyone can basically write your dialogue, David. It just mostly consists of screaming.
Well, yes, all of my dialogue.
Dave, you don't have much dialogue beyond getting unintelligibly angry.
Yeah, how about this, Dave? I'll write a scene, and then I'll send that scene to you. You read the scene, tweak it, then send it back to me, and we'll keep doing that until we get it to where we like it.
So, how we did it with Etrigon.
Well, except, complete it.
Okay,
and,
we'll complete it.
Well, actually, no, I'm still writing Etrigon. Anyway, but yeah, it's going to be an origin story.
Indeed.
I kind of felt bad that we were doing this, but the idea that I have in my head is too fucking rich not to make it an origin story.
Right. I like the story as it is, but we'll get into more of the specifics as it goes on.
Exactly. Should we talk about Sharknado?
Yeah, get it. Yeah. Well, it's your section. Go ahead.
I don't know which channel we're going to do it on, but hell, Sharknado 2 is coming on, and man, does that movie look fun. And I'm not just saying that, like Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. I'm saying that, like, this movie looks legitly fun. Everyone who's worked on it says they know it's stupid, therefore they ran with it, which is a good way to go. And fuck it. This sounds like a great time just to get together and just riff the living fuck out of that movie.
Also, the riff tracks for the Sharknado just happened, so...
Exactly. So... I'm thinking about either I'm going to host it or Bill's going to host it. I don't know who, but the SOS...
I mean, it was your idea, so...
Yeah, I could do it. So the SOS is going to do a live broadcast of the day of Sharknado 2, or at least this is what we're planning right now. It's not 100% confirmed. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. That is do a live broadcast of Sharknado 2, live as it's happening on screen on the Sci-Fi Channel.
That's the plan. We'll work out the details later on, but we'll keep you posted. When does it air? When does it air?
In sometime in August, early August, I think.
Okay, so we'll have to work this out. So we'll keep you guys updated as always with what goes on. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll do a live riff of Sharknado. We actually planned this earlier in our run to do it with a couple movies. Raging Cajun Redneck Gators was one, but we just never really knew how we would do it. But with the live technology and everything, it seems like it would be the opportune time to do it. So we're going to do that for Sharknado 2. But also, speaking of things SOS related coming up, our 1-year anniversary is coming up.
Woo.
And we have plans for that. So look out for that. We're not going to tell you much more than it's happening. We have a plan for it. But yeah, so look forward to that coming soon. I'm also thinking of getting some audience input on how we're going to do that in terms of what we're going to do on the episode itself.
No, not another Q&A.
Robert. In the words of Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, do it live.
I will always respect Bill O'Reilly in the least for saying that.
But we'll when I say we'll get the audience input, it's more of what we'll do in the episode itself, since, it's our 1-year anniversary and we want to please the fans and ourselves, so we'll do that. But we also have an idea for what we're going to do with it anyway. So yeah, look out for that. Planning for that will be, of course, be stated as it happens, as it is more developed. But what else do we have to announce, boys? Anybody else got anything major?
Well, I've got more episodes of Congratulations coming up, which I'm actually kind of changing up the style because, to be honest, there's a lot of shit going on right now in my place. So I'm still going to do the videos. However, what I'm going to do differently is the next few episodes are going to just be me speaking in front of a microphone. With a picture, and I'm not going to upload it just like episode 6, episode 7, episode 8, each one being an upload. The next few ones, I think they're going to be like episode 8, 9, and 10, and they're probably going to go 3 at a time. That way it just goes by quicker, and, you know, the few people that are actually watching the show get to hear my beautiful opinion on what's coming up. Because now that I'm at the episode where Asuka comes in.
Oh boy.
Let the fun begin. So stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for Ultrathon with me and Super DM, myself and Super DM, and fucking nothing else, man.
All right.
Well, I gotta pimp myself because I don't think I did this.
Holy shit! David's got something planned. What is it? What could it possibly be?
Well, I don't have anything planned. It's already been established. I just didn't bother to say anything because I don't think I've been on the last few SOS chats. I don't know. I can't remember. But basically, I have a new channel.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And so far, I only have like 170 subscribers, I think. It's in the hundreds range. I need more subscribers, or I need my old subscribers back. So go on to the new channel, just simply titled Gorzard.
I will actually remember to link it on the network homepage this time. I said I was going to do it in another episode, and I completely forgot.
No, you
so
won't.
I will do that.
No, you won't, Bill.
Remind me, Andres. Hey, you guys are all admins on that shit too. So why don't you guys better fucking why don't you do it too? I'm not alone in this. Adam posts shit on there all the time. He's using his responsibility wisely.
What am I doing? I'm sorry, I was totally spacing.
Posting shit on the network homepage. Dave, you're an admin on there. You can post it there yourself.
I don't know how to manage a page like that, so that's why I've been off it.
Just put the fucking post on there, man.
It's not that hard. You do it on Tokusatsu all the time.
It's to say you do it the same way you make a post on Tokusatsu. Yeah.
Oh my god!
You put a little link in the description and then you put the post button and that's all.
Dave, this is Jerry Lewis, and I just want to say that you need to go on the network homepage and click on the post with the lady.
You got one there holding a 2x4 and says, "Get up, you lazy bastard, or I'll push you down a flight of stairs." And you know,
they'll feel it.
You won't even feel it anyway.
Andres,
Billy. What?
If you're gonna be picky, then I shall go to it right now and do the post.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Well, I'm too lazy right now.
Oh, well, I feel the same. I have a massive headache, so let's wrap this up. Andres, what do you have to say?
Well, stay tuned for more Shoe Watch, and that's
still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on. Still suffering through some final technical issues that's been plaguing me since the beginning of summer, and.
But anyway, so Andres, anything else aside from that?
I'm sorry, Bill.
No, that's fine. I'm not going to be able to get to it till Monday night anyway, because I have to edit the last G-Fest podcast, so I'll have to do this one Monday night. But Andres, anything else?
The opening?
God damn it, Adam.
Somebody speak!
No, I was waiting for you to start over, Bill.
No, we're fine. We're good. We're in.
So yeah, stick around for more Shoe Watch. I know it's been a while since the last episode, and I'm still suffering through some last technical issues with the laptop. Although I'm able to finally get recording to record audio again. But it's the whole editing videos together. It's like another problem. I am hoping to look into seeing if I can get a new type of video editing software. And other than that, that will be it for now. I mean, once I get everything up and running, then I'll be able to hopefully post material on a regular basis.
Adam, you were going to say something?
No, I just thought that the opening video or the opening to the wrote the G-Fest thing using the music from Godzilla versus, well, technically Frankenstein Conquers the World, but in Godzilla versus Gigan, where they're traveling to figure out who this guy is, was really clever.
That was a last-minute decision, too. That was, like, right when I was editing it, because I had no idea what music...
I thought that was really clever, and I legitimately laughed when I heard that music.
Yeah, I wanted to use something Godzilla-related, but I didn't know what, so that was kind of a last-minute decision. I'm glad how that... I also thought what would be clever is to have that be the opening, but then cut to the more updated version of it from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, where it's the G-Force theme.
Yeah.
I like that too. But anyway, I have a couple things. Things have kind of been slow on the channel lately, aside from the podcasts, and I apologize for that. I really have no excuse aside from laziness. I have a couple plans on things I want to do, review-wise, of just me, coming up soon. I'm going to make a separate video though, to talk about those, because they're not all hammered out yet in my head.
Oh
but I'll
my
let you guys
god,
know.
you're finally reviewing Kill Bill.
No,
Yeah.
that's... I have till next G-Fest to do that. I don't have to do that yet.
No, Chris, I bet you Chris Maury is going to ask me if you've watched it yet.
And you can tell him you can lie to him. You can lie to Chris Maury. No,
I think it'd be more fun to just have him continue to remember you as the idiot who won't watch Kill Bill.
Well, now whenever I fucking crack open Rulers of Earth Volume 3, that'll be the first thing I see is watch the damn movie already. But anyway, I got a couple. I want to start those house reviews at some point. I'm not sure when. I kind of want to get Odyssey done with Dylan first before I start doing those, because that's more of a regular thing. And also the other thing I want to do before I start doing those house reviews is I want to do two things. I want to do a Conga-palooza, but not call it that. And also I also want to do a Gamera-palooza, and I will call it that.
No, it's better to call it a Gamerathon.
No, that's stupid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's because
I'm with Andres on that one.
Yeah, but people have done the Thon thing. The Palooza thing is my thing. I'm gonna keep the Palooza thing going, though. Conga-palooza sounds like I'm reviewing every movie called Conga, and that wouldn't be very long. Unless I counted the
comics. It would be very long because the freaking Germans mess everything up.
or the comics.
It's called Kongorama, the rebirth. Rebirth of Kongorama.
The reboot, rebirth, remake 2.0. Redux. No,
HD Turbo Remix.
But that's the plan. I'm going to do those are coming up soon, and I've got a couple of other ideas for stuff to do soon. I'll make a video about all this later on when I have more hammer and when I don't have a headache. I kind of want to wrap this up now. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. Until next time, I'm Bill Worster. Oh shit, Dave was BRB. Damn it, we have to wait to do the closing. What? Oh, you're back? Okay, good. Until next time, I'm Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar.
I'm Gorzo. Bitches leave!
Man, nice.
And I'm Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way it's been.
It's been. Wasn't afraid to die.
Bullshit.
But as always, science is sound.
Bullshit.